Coming to you from the award-winning Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge, PCA's 2024 Best of Leaf Midwest Cigar Bar, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge, it's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to the Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Will.
I'm Isaiah.
And I'm Scott.
And as you can see, we brought Isaiah back.
I don't know what we were thinking, but what the hell? We're glad to have you.
Yeah.
Back for a show.
This will be fun to catch up, man. We're going to ask you all kinds of really rude and inappropriate questions. So, no. So, let's go ahead and get started here. Today, we're going to go ahead and smoke last year's Las Calaveras. Reason why is because this year's is coming out soon. If you want a chance to smoke the last 3 years, I'm going to be putting together a sample pack of all 3 years. So you can come in and buy all three, and then you'll be getting one free cigar, another free Crowned Heads in that pack. So that'd be a good way to get four cigars for the price of three.
The 2021s?
Not the 21s, the 22, 23, and now the 24s are coming out. Yeah.
Well,
21s are sold
3
out.
years.
Yeah.
Did you forget how to count too? Been gone from the show, and
I thought he already had three. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, last year's are smoking fantastically right now.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So, and I've been getting into a lot of broadleaf. I don't know if you smoked the new Chef Special from Espinosa yet.
I haven't yet.
It's as good, if not better. I think it's better than the 55 and 56.
it's better.
Whoa.
I think it's better than I
It's
think
better.
it's better than
55.
56.
And I think in 56.
Both.
And I
Yes.
think Scott Johnson's actually coming around now too. That tells you how good it is.
I will need to smoke
it's just
that.
it's just more well-rounded than the 56
really is.
or the 55.
That's cool.
That's true. It is. It's got a lot less of the aggressive chocolate, which just adds to the balance. It's still there, which is
It's
what's
still
great.
there.
Oh my gosh.
It's there, but it's just not like crazy.
Yes.
Cold draw on this thing is just
It's like
chocolate.
Raisin Bran for me.
It's
Raisin
raisin
to me.
and fig and
There's a little bit of a cinnamon quality,
Yeah.
like almost a baking spice quality in the.
if there was a such thing as chocolate Raisin Bran, that's what I'd be getting.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Man, that's so good.
That sounds good.
It kind of does.
Chocolate raisin bran?
Yeah, why
Why does this not exist?
Cocoa Pebbles and raisins. Let's go.
So it took us a total of 2 minutes to start talking
even
about
that.
food.
Well,
Yeah.
It's true.
Hey, by the way, everybody that's been out there asking, we got in the big dog lighters, these cutlasses. This is the one that's been on our table for a few months now, and everyone keeps asking about them. It's the big 4-jet. It's got the straight cutter on the back, the 2 punches on the bottom, and then you also have the cigar rest on top. Great table lighter. So
It's the Gerber multi-tool.
it is the Gerber lighter. Yeah. So come on in and get them because we have a lot of them. So please come in and get
Yeah,
them.
you've been talking about getting those for a while.
Well, I've been waiting for them to get done. So they're in. They're
Are they
in.
branded?
They are.
There you go.
They got the logo on them.
Nice. Speaking of the logo, I got to see the logo last night quite a bit.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I was at home and we had our big Independence Day party this week, and cleanup takes forever from that because it's funny enough, it's actually the firework mess. It just explodes everywhere. And
I don't think anyone would have guessed otherwise with the rig that you're blowing up. out
that's
there.
true. There was a few fireworks. So Janelle, sitting on the couch.
How
it's
many
like 8
sheets
o'clock.
of plywood were full of fireworks?
I think we did. Well, if you count like the racks, there's 4 racks that have 50 shots each, that are like the hand load mortars, and then I think we had another 6 skids beyond that, and then we had some on the grass. So yes, a lot of cleanup.
I'm definitely bummed I missed it because everybody that has independently come to me and said, literally, that's the best fireworks show they have ever seen. Like,
It was
had
good.
to have been insanely.
Yeah,
good.
it was a good show. We won't be doing it next year. We're taking a year off from the party because it'll be Janelle and I's 25th anniversary.
And you guys will be out of town,
We're
so
gonna
we're
go to
actually having a
Europe.
party at Scott's house
Right,
that
so
week.
you can have the party if you want. Clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
Pay for the fireworks because I won't be here to do it. But yeah, it was a really, really good show this year. I think we had just over 1,200 explosions in 4 minutes for the finale.
Nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, the
It's
1812
nuts, man.
overture.
It's just something about rednecks and fireworks.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Amen.
That's right.
Just being able to blow stuff up.
And then, another thing rednecks like, racing of most any kind.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
last night, after getting done with cleanup and everything, I went to the horse track over at Harrah's Hoosier Park.
Yeah.
And what did I see when I opened up the program? Final Third Cigar and Whiskey
Heck yeah.
I
Lounge.
saw
Yeah.
that.
What did I see up on the big screen out in the middle of the track? Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge.
Did they
And
have
my
it between
stupid
every
face-
race?
Your
Dude,
stupid
was
face.
well, yeah, because they got the podcast
Oh,
logo on
gosh,
there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yep.
I didn't know
It
they
was,
put it up in every race.
dude. It was just cycling continuously.
Wow.
It's
cool.
just part of rotation.
You got a hell of a deal there.
I think you did. I
Thanks,
think you did.
Caesars and
So-
Harris.
So because of
That's
that
funny.
support that they provide, obviously, they support this show and we want everybody to go out and have a good time.
Yeah.
They talked about the Dam Patch coming up towards the end of July.
That's right.
So that's kind of their big race weekend.
It'll be packed out there. They'll have so many people out there watching racing.
Yep, we're gonna try and do a show from out there, and and maybe get some some horse people on.
That'd be great. Yeah. And so, Gene, we need to get one of those private suites for
Yes.
the podcast because I'm sure that place is going to be packed out.
Yes, absolutely. We totally need
Or
one.
our new studio space that they're going to be putting in for us over there.
Hey, let's only hope, right?
There's no way. Ain't no way.
Well,
Oh, you wait. Oh yeah.
you ain't been around much. We got some things to tell you.
Oh, you got
It's
So-
been going a little crazy here with the
Let's
podcast.
get
It's
some
good
whiskey.
stuff. Yes,
Let's
we
get
need
some
to be
whiskey.
drinking. I mean, I'm drinking a little bit already, but this is we never called this out, so I'm going to shout it out real quick. Rob, you make really fantastic cocktails here.
Thank
We
you.
have
Thank
talked
you.
about your award-winning Seagrass Sazerac.
Sazerac.
Yep.
Yep.
You came up with this new one. This is the 470, which
Yes.
is kind of a somewhat of a blend between a Toronto and a Manhattan, correct?
Yep.
And that's why you called it the 470, because it's exactly 470 miles between Manhattan and Toronto.
Nice.
So if you haven't had this yet, come
Wow.
in, ask
Rob is
for the
really good
470.
with Google.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's
All
a
I had to
great
do is hit the
cocktail.
map, baby. No, it's actually good. It's just blending. You're doing the same thing as either a Manhattan or a Toronto, and you just add a quarter ounce of either the vermouth to the Fernet or vice versa.
Yep. It's really,
Pretty
really
tasty.
good.
Pretty
Highly
tasty.
recommend.
It
Well,
makes
you're
it very
welcome to try it if
savory.
you want.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right,
So what are we drinking
drink
as far
first?
as bourbons here?
what do we want to start with?
Let's start with the. I would say start with the younger stuff, and we'll
Okay.
Maybe start with
Work
the
our
white
way
dog.
up.
yeah.
So
Little
I
white dog in the
brought.
morning sounds good.
I did a.
It's 2.
Oh yeah.
This is
a little later
That's
than
true.
usual.
We have basically two things. We have a white dog and a 2-year product. It's not even commercially available yet. So this is not out for sale at all. They're still aging this. They probably won't release their bourbon until it at least hits 4 years.
Gotcha.
But Jackson's Purchase, it's in Hickman, Kentucky, which is the western part of the state. And yeah, I don't know. What do I do here, Isaiah?
I don't know.
My God.
I would have just
This
gone
cigar
around
is
the court.
smoking ridiculously good right
It
now.
is really
Yeah, they
good.
are.
Like I barely even gotten
It is.
into it.
Mine too. I mean,
Right now, for me, it's like red pepper on the retrohale and wheat toast, like spiced wheat
yeah,
toast on the
yeah,
on the palate.
absolutely. I can see the wheat toast or even rye, maybe.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
we always talk about tasting white dog, and
yeah.
if the white dog's good, you kind of know everything's going to be good. So I'll let you pour as much as you want
right.
there.
Do a little bit of this one.
I'm just
here.
going to do a little taste of this.
As they say, garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff
Exactly.
in, good stuff out.
But this is proof down a little bit. This is coming in at no, it's still proof 148.
Oh, good, good.
Okay. Oh, still
Quite
And,
quite the way to start off your day.
so
proof
this
down
is-
to
it's
148.
It's
This
proof
is-
down
this
from
is-
160
This is the
to
true
40.
white dog, and this is a mash bill of 70% corn,
Man,
Just do it a little
20%
bit.
rye, and
Let's just get that
10% malted
buttery butterscotch nose on it. All the
Yeah.
butteries.
A buttery, flaky crust.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
it's not super corny on the nose. Like,
No, it's not. It's sweeter. Especially that proof.
I
Unless
spilled a
you get your
little on
nose
the table,
really
so I was just getting the texture of the feel of it.
Yeah.
I know it's
But make sure that's wiped off the table. That might eat right through that finish. At 148, just your hand. It's fine. It's fine. It'll evaporate on your
we started
hand.
with
I
the
feel
younger
like Tommy
stuff,
Boy,
but not the
gasoline.
lower.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. So like, if you take a little bit too and you rub it in your hands,
It's got a nice soft feel to it for 148. It does
It's got
not.
a nice soft on the
I'm
palate.
just really impressed by this. Like, it's not just straight corn,
Right.
and it's not corn husk. Like, there's almost a floral element.
You can
to it.
taste the corn, but it's a sweet corn.
Yeah.
Not sweet corn. It's a sweeter corn. Yeah.
The finish on it is really floral fruity for me. And
It really
I
is.
can't pinpoint it, but
That thing is going to end high in the barrel.
I am so impressed. Well, they can't put
They
it
can't
in the
put it in
barrel
the-
at 140.
they'll have to water it down to
Take it around
130.
130. Yeah.
Is it 130, Isaiah?
that is
125.
125.
Oh, it
in
is
the barrel.
125.
We've talked
Okay.
about it.
We were trying to
I know.
remember which one it was.
Yeah, so 70, 20, 10. So 70 corn, 20 rye, 10 malted barley.
Wow.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not really getting much of that rye at all in there
No.
for being 20%.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's-
That's really good.
And then
that
this
is
would be
really
the-
promise. Like, that is a lot of promise for this
It
distillery.
really is. And you
This-
said this, what's the name of it? Jackson Purchase?
Jackson's Purchase. Yeah.
Wow.
So co-owned or co-master distillers are Craig Beam and Terry Ballard, who was the master distiller at Makers for a while,
Gotcha.
or an
So-
assistant distiller at Makers. I'm not quite
So
sure.
they know what they're doing.
Anyway, guys that know what they're doing, they know how to distill. So
And there is a note in there I can't quite pick out.
I think it's that floral thing that Isaiah was saying.
It is a little spicy at the front of the tongue, like just as
Yeah.
it hits, and I can't tell if that's ethanol or rye.
yeah, I to me, I feel like it's ethanol.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure either.
I would expect it to drink a lot hotter than that at 148.
Yeah.
It does not have any kind of.
I mean, if we took a whole shot of that, yeah, we
Of
would not
course,
have
but
our breath.
I mean, normally,
but-
like you even just take a sip of something like that, and when it's, pretty crappy stuff, then
I honestly
really
need
feel
a
it.
dump glass, but
Oh,
I
hey,
got it.
Lise,
Don't worry.
could you grab us one small glass, please? Just one glass for a dump glass.
So this is the bourbon. This is aged 2 years, 5.5
Thank you.
months. Same mash bill. Barrel entry proof is 120.
Cool.
And
Let's throw this in the
assuming
middle
is
here.
Still
Go
a
ahead,
barrel
Will.
entry here.
Just pass it around.
Just pass it
The
around.
table's full.
So this was produced in 21. Yeah, and they pulled this on June 11th. So
Cool.
super cool.
see what it tastes like.
I will say that White Dog had such a strong flavor, it kind of overrode the cigar,
It did.
which
Yeah,
you
you're
wouldn't
right.
Is
expect.
this dump
But
right here, Rob?
I think it's just because
That's dump. Yeah, yeah.
you think so? I
think
really thought it was some flavor elements that were kind of pretty strong there.
But it's not in a negative way. I'm.
So again-
no, not negative. No, I just mean like really, really.
I really think it's
Robust.
more proof that overrode the cigar than.
I'll tell you what it did to the cigar for me is it made the retrohale a lot more black pepper than red
Yeah.
pepper.
On the palate of the cigar with that White Dog, it kind of made it a little bit more tannic bitter.
Yeah.
So understand
Yeah.
what we're tasting right now. This isn't ready. You
Yeah.
know,
How old did you say it was?
2.5.
2.5.
So it's
okay.
not ready.
Okay.
It's not released. So this is just kind of a maturation process here. Kind of see where it started, where we're at in 2.5 years with it.
And what's the proof on that? That tastes pretty proofy.
120.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That tastes more proofy than the White Dog. It's definitely got the tannins going.
Oh, the floral that I was detecting in the other one turned into a really like almost peach and vanilla thing for me.
Like
I'm
a
get-
peach
I'm-
blossom going to
Yeah.
a peach fruit kind of thing.
Kinda
Yeah.
is.
I can't get really past the oak tannic thing to me right now. I'm getting a little bit of that tasting like the dry oak, like you're dry on the palate for me.
Make sure you rinsed your palate well enough. I feel like there's a lot sticking around.
That could be part of the
Yeah.
White Dog still
The
sticking
rice spice
around.
pops through
It
now.
does.
100%.
It does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it's
does.
on the finish.
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just
It's
the
a
White
high.
Dog.
It's really spicy right now to me.
And it's almost like a eucalyptus type of rice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say
That's why I don't like it. 'Cause
maybe
I don't like
like,
that. That's the part of why I don't like.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it. I think this is great.
The eucalyptus and dill. I'm not a big fan of that in rye.
I'm not detecting dill in it.
No. I'm saying those are the notes in rye that I don't like.
Should probably put the cap on that.
Yeah, I get like a star anise thing kind of happening, but it's subtle. It's not
I can
like
see that.
I would agree with that 100%.
Rob, what did you just rinse your glass with?
I thought it was water.
It looks
Not-
like lemonade, dude. Pink lemonade.
I get citrus all of a sudden.
It's a liquid IV.
Oh, okay.
I literally live on that shit now.
I love it too. Have you
Oh.
tried the energy ones that they have?
Yes, I have.
the
yes.
yuzu pineapple. That's my
Yeah.
jam.
So I like that. I like
So
the
they
liquid
will
IV.
be contract distilling as well as producing their own product. So I'm excited for this. I think it's got a lot of promise. I think I'd like to see what it is in another couple of years and see where they go with it. But see if they proof it down, see if they release it cast strength, see if they do single barrels. I'm not sure what they're going to do.
So how did you get this? Did they just send it to you to
Well,
try on the show, or
as, you know, I'd hate to bring it up in front of Deshaun,
I know,
but
Fred.
I have these like this crew in Kentucky I roll with. You know,
Yeah,
Minnick, you
yeah,
know, he kind of
yeah.
sent me some stuff to try. So.
who is this Fred guy you talk about? I've
Yeah,
never heard of
it's
this
just-
guy.
Yeah, he just comes up with a lot of good shit. All
He just
the
comes
time.
over and hangs out and sleeps on your couch sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's part of Club Marzipan. They sent us a tasting. I
Okay.
tasted it with one of our friends before, but I was in Iowa when they did the tasting, and I was working my butt off, so I didn't actually get.
Well, we
go through
tease
it.
you because we love you.
I know.
It's all right
And,
if you're
and you
bougie,
get
just
access
own it.
to new awesome bourbons that you bring in all the time.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
yeah, and
I feel like we're all benefiting from this.
So this was just a you know, they wanted to get in front of some bourbon
Yeah.
folks and bourbon geeks and see what we thought of.
Are they
it. Yeah.
currently contract distilling, or is that something they're starting soon?
They are in the sense that you can buy barrels from them now.
Okay. Yeah. It just seems like anybody who's anybody in the Kentucky scene is starting off contract distilling. I
Distilling.
think after what Bardstown Bourbon Company did, like just being profitable day one because of contract distilling.
Well, if you think about the cost of goods, and if you can get, let's say you get anywhere from what, $1,800 to $2,000 for new make, you're getting cash up front.
yeah.
You need cash to lay down cash, right? Like you gotta. The distilling business is the most capital intensive, one of the most capital intensive businesses out there, and you can't have enough money.
Yeah.
when it comes to
and hell,
making
even the boys down here at Moondrops have already contracted distilled for Alan Bishop. So
Oh, sweet.
yeah.
Okay, finally got it.
Mm-hmm.
This is like spring walking through like the orchards. Like when you've got old fall growth that's just creating shit on the ground because it's all going away and all the blossoms are coming out.
Yeah, this really tastes like poop. No,
I'm telling you, there is an earthy element to this, an undergrowth element in here that is on the
I
nose.
can see that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, it's blood in your
No, you're
face.
fine.
Oh.
Very good.
Yeah, like it's aggressively there. Not like peat, but like
yeah.
like undergrowth, like when you're just stomping around in the spring.
Yeah.
Well, so while we're finishing up that pour, I got a little gift for Isaiah as I drop it. I always drop shit on
It's broken now.
It's broken.
Yep.
It was
a thought that
it's
counts.
It was glass. Now it's
Is this the
glasses.
gift that I know is coming.
Yes, it is.
So this is like full circle moment. I remember
This is like before when we first met. This is what you wanted.
There you go.
there it is. The
I
crown
literally
heads.
told him, "You better give him that hat." He was,
Oh, yeah.
want that hat. Yeah.
Oh, that's the whole reason why I got it because
Yeah.
I knew that was the one he wanted. So
My head's so big, got to put it on too.
hopefully that wasn't a small hat though.
They're always.
I'm glad you didn't wear a hat today. Now you get to wear it. There you go.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Looks good.
So yeah, so those on the podcast that don't see it, it's the Crowned Heads hat that is made in the Krispy Kreme logo.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Isaiah, I mean, honestly, probably some of the first episodes you and I ever
think
did,
so.
we
I had
talked about
mentioned
that hat.
about this hat. So.
That has a cult following, so they brought it back.
Yeah. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it
You
was
got
cool.
the Bass Pro.
I
gimmick
do have
one.
the
does.
Bass
Yeah,
Pro
that's a cool
one.
Yeah.
I have a lot of them. Victoria was going through my hats the other day, and she was like, "Do you really need all of these?" And I was like, Probably. Like, I probably do. Like,
Don't let her get rid of
I think
everything.
I have
Come on, Victoria.
probably like 10 Crown Heads hat. I've only
Yeah.
ever given one away, and that was one of the Las Calaveras ones. It was a straight flat bill.
I have hats like women have shoes. I mean, I have way too many hats.
Yeah.
I don't wear half of them, but there's like my go-to is probably 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
About
I got
every
like
10 years, I get
50.
rid of like 100 hats, and then I start over.
Well, and the
I mean, if you look
problem
back
is-
at that thing,
yeah.
I've got that many at home.
The
too.
problem
Like,
is
oh,
in
I-
this game, everybody's going to give you a hat.
Exactly. You're right.
You know,
All
I've
those
got a-
hats back here were given to me. Probably.
I've got a lot of hats, but I think I've got like one baseball cap, just my Lagalara
yeah.
white
Mhm.
baseball hat. I've got 2 top hats. I've got a fedora. I've got like I like hats that are not like everyday, like
bulky.
they're
He's
all
got the-
special
he's
Have
got
occasions.
you
the
gotten in
big
on the
leather
geriatric
one, man.
hats that they've been wearing?
No, what is it? Tell me
The-
all about
Only
it.
the cool
Scallies.
people can do it, man.
Yeah.
Oh
the
yeah,
Scallies.
oh yeah. Well, I got to get one of those.
I know you
Yeah,
do.
you'll fit in right
Yes.
at the nursing home.
I'm good
Only
with that.
cool people wear those. You know, the young guys just aren't cool enough yet.
Every time
Everybody wants
I
to knock the
saw-
nursing home, but the reality is, I mean, you
Y'all are
you sit
closer than
around
I
and
am,
y'all
so-
get to sit around and hang out and like
I
converse
can't
with
think
friends
of
and
a
they
single
feed you,
time
and-
that I saw Dr. J and his scally, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that looks like a old white dude that went to Ireland and Scotland one time.
Hey, you wouldn't believe after I've been wearing them in here, how many people wear scallies in here now.
Yeah, I know.
Young and old.
Boather's
whatever.
on it now.
Boather's got him one.
Boather's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
it. I
Yep,
saw
yep.
it.
He's had that one for a long time too. So
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying.
I'm just giving people the license to go ahead and be cool at younger ages,
Okay.
so they don't have to wait until
Mike's
later.
not here today because he's out working hard for Spencer Lee's.
Yeah, he's at Daniel's Vineyard today.
Daniel's
I believe.
Vineyard
Yeah,
today.
Yeah.
He was at Metazoa yesterday.
Yeah. Shout out to those guys.
Yep, absolutely love the folks over at Metazoa, and obviously go check out
Yeah. And I've never
Spencer
been
Lee's
to
wherever you can.
I've never been to Daniel's Vineyard yet, so
It's
I want to
really
go.
cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk
Lisa's
about
been.
it. Yep.
Big. It's big. You know, there's
It's
a lot. They have great wine. They have usually have some craft beers on tap that are pretty good. Not their own, but they have God, what's that one? 18th Street or 16th Street? Brewery?
Yeah,
Still-
north.
18th, yeah,
I think it's
18th Street
18th.
Yeah,
Brewery.
they have
South
some good,
Bend,
they have some cool
I
things
think.
from them usually.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So.
West.
Yeah.
Further.
It's just north of Three Floyds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
Highland or somewhere up in there.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
But I think Daniel's Vineyard is not for your hardcore wine enthusiast. Like, they do a lot of sweet, a lot of fruited stuff.
That's Indiana.
But it is a great place to go for events. Sometimes they do live music. It's fun.
Yep.
Always something to do. Even if you're just looking for something to do at night, like hit them up, or you have the day off, like go
Yeah.
to Daniel's Vineyard.
They have a good place for events too.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
All right, so what's up next? Which one we going with next? Which one's the
I think
higher
we should
proof
go
one?
with I don't know. I can't remember what that one is. That's a rye. So maybe we
So
go with
let's do rye last.
Okay.
because that one that's
So,
a lot going on with
This
that one.
is a Knob Creek pick from 2018. It is it is 14.9 years old.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is an OG. I'm so sorry for your table, Rob. The old wax on these is just a
no, they're
mess.
terrible. They're terrible.
The newer stuff is a little bit more pliable, but this is god awful. And this was picked by the Beastmasters Club. I have no clue who they are, but I thank you to whoever got this for me, or maybe I bought it off of you or something, but I found it at the back of a cabinet and wondered why this high age Knob Creek pick was not open. So I brought it today.
Sweet.
Well, so if
Nice.
anybody out there's in the part of the Beastmasters Club, we're about to test your palate out.
privately select.
The interesting thing too on some of these older picks is it kind of and this is 6 years old, so take this for what you will, but it kind of does give a kind of a reading on what the palate was like back in 2018. Like, this was the best thing that they
Yeah.
had that day. I hope.
Let me put on my wife's readers and
There you
see
go.
what I can read.
Man,
here.
you look pretty.
Double barrel part 2. Yep. Warehouse
Oh my
W,
God.
4th floor, rack EE. And it's a
Oh my-
picture of a beaver. I don't know what that has to do with the Beastmaster, but
I don't know if that's the liquid IB coming through.
You wouldn't call a beaver a beast?
That is the
depends on the beaver.
fruitiest.
Exactly.
I want to see what you think of yours. My
Some
the
of
nose
these
on it's
for
the
me get a
fruitiest
lot
I don't know
nose.
where we're gonna
red
take that one.
licorice or Twizzler notes. But
This is the fruitiest nose on a whiskey I've ever smelled. If it's not the glass of liquid
so
IB.
this is that signature, at least for me. What I call it is like red licorice, red
Yes.
Twizzler.
Yeah. Candied cherry almost. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Wow. That is almost sweet enough just on the nose that I feel like I've got sugar in
Damn.
my mouth.
You literally put an
That
orange
is like-
peel on this little
That's
simple. You got an
off
old
Beam
fashioned.
profile to me. Like
Yeah.
I don't think of this when I think of Beam. Like
No, but that's why I love these things.
That is so good.
Yeah, this is like one of the better ones.
I'm serious, man. A quarter ounce of simple and an orange slice on the side of this thing. It's an old fashioned in a glass.
And it's just like the oak tannin hits you right in the finish, and it's just a little bit dry.
but in
not
almost
so much.
15 years, it's not tasting over oaked at all to me.
No.
Just a nice oak.
So
That's good.
Wow.
thank
Long
you
finish.
to the Beastmasters. I don't know who you are. I don't even know if you're a local club or.
I don't know if you're still alive at this
Yeah,
point.
I don't know.
oh, citrus all day, man.
It really is.
citrus all day.
So just
What-
on the
what is
palate,
that?
yeah.
Beautiful though.
No citrus at all.
No,
Vanilla
there's
bean.
vanilla, ice cream, a little butter.
That's a throwback joke.
haven't made
I'm not
fun of
sure
him in a
anybody will
while.
get it. Yeah.
All you have to do is ask us. We'll tell you.
Yeah, you have to come in and ask,
Uh-huh.
though. They're not going to say it on the podcast.
Wow.
I
That's
can't
very
believe how
nice.
citrusy that is. That
That's-
is
it
really
is very-
weird for a bean.
yeah. It's crazy how it goes from super candied cherry on the nose to that
Yeah,
citrus
that
on the
is
palate.
not on the palate. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
That's
And there's
good.
still that, like, peanut thing. Like, that peanut is definitely in there. Or maybe it's more of a pecan.
It's definitely probably I don't know if it's the best Knob Creek I've ever had, but it's right up there because I don't have a lot of Knob Creeks that I've had before. So but that's good.
Well, I took a Knob Creek pick down to the lake, and it was 120. I think it may have gotten it.
Yeah.
From, it was the one that Fisher's Bourbon Society did, that
Oh, yeah.
Andre's Kitchen one, and it's quintessential Knob Creek. You know,
Yeah.
very nutty, nothing like this. Maybe a little bit of
Yeah.
citrus, but like not this at all.
They, I occasionally find one of the newer ones that's, like, off profile, but I regularly find some of the older ones that are off profile. I think they've just sat around long enough to have it make a difference or something.
I love when I see old Knob Creek picks on secondary. I'm always thinking if you're in there,
Yeah.
if you're watching, you got
If
your eye on
Isaiah
them or
had
not.
extra money right now, he probably would be going for it. But these
Yeah.
on secondary will be anywhere from like 150 to 200, and
They're not
Honestly,
ridiculous. Yeah.
no.
Honestly,
not
I would
ridiculous.
buy it for that. That is super unique.
Yeah, if I had money right now, I
Yeah,
probably would too.
yeah.
But
Same.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've got
So I
7
found
years.
these guys.
You did? Are they still around?
Oh, they've got like a massive website and like a podcast.
All right,
and
Mike, make sure you
They,
tag
they
him
got
in
a
this.
whole
that's
whole
a good
thing here,
idea.
and it's like a public club that you can join. I'm assuming it's a pay to
Okay.
Could
play,
be.
Sweet.
but yeah, they got.
Well, we'll have to tag him in the podcast and maybe reach out to them and see if they want to come on the show.
Absolutely.
Beastmasters, I have never been a part of your club. I would like to be after tasting this one.
Right?
But I don't know where I got this. I have no clue where I got it.
That's cool.
And
Oh, the membership is free.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, and they have an online
So-
shop.
So what
Man,
you're
these guys
saying
are-
is you too can be a Beastmaster.
I guess so.
Nice.
Yeah.
they got a Traverse City pick. They've got a couple private labels, it looks like.
Yeah, it does look that way.
What year was the Traverse City pick?
Oh.
Because I think I might have tried that.
October 2022.
I bet that was the one I tried up there in Traverse City because they had 4 barrel picks from clubs, and I tried all 4. All 4 of them were fantastic, but that's maybe the neat reason why that name sounds familiar to me.
Honestly, that
They had
flavor.
$90 for that or 85 for that
really?
Traverse City.
Yeah. This flavor
Nice.
profile leans more towards Baker's to me.
It kind of does.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'd agree.
yeah.
But it's not as soft.
Oh,
Baker's
no,
to me
no.
always has a little
Yeah.
bit of that soft overtone to it.
So I
So
just feel like citrus-wise, you get more citrus out of Baker's probably than you do.
Enjoy live harness racing action at Harrah's Hoosier Park, Tuesday through Saturday through November 30th. First post on weeknights is 6:15 p.m. and 7 p.m. on Saturdays. Also enjoy the Hop Bebop concert series to go along with racing on Saturdays with local musical acts live from the Hop Outdoor Recreational Area from 7 to 10 p.m. Admission is free. Harrah's Hoosier Park, premier gaming in the heart of the Midwest.
The other beams.
What was that Baker's that came in the silver label? That just
The 13 year?
oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
That's
Yeah, it was
solid,
really
yeah.
good.
It's such a good bottle.
Was it good? I haven't had
13
that one.
was.
No, you've
No,
had
you've
it.
had it.
You've had it
Oh,
Yeah.
multiple
okay.
times.
I never know that I
It
have
was there
things.
even at my bachelor party.
Whiskey. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was at your bachelor party, but
It
there was a
was.
lot at your
There
bachelor
was
party.
a
So
lot.
Yeah.
I remember sending a picture of that table to one of my friends who's into whiskey, and he was like, "Holy crap, where's my invite?"
Sorry.
like
Suck
Pin
You're
the
not that
tail
close.
on the high end bottle.
It literally
It was,
was.
yeah.
Like, everybody brought out something special, and
It was fun.
It was nice. I wish there were more tastings like that of like everybody's bringing the bottle that probably in a normal sense would be at the back of a cabinet and like ordered for a special occasion. I was this is a rabbit trail, but we'll go down it. But we had Victoria had a friend over. Her husband came with her, and I'd never met him before, and he casually mentioned that he was into bourbon, and I was like, "Oh, okay. What do you like? What do you like?" He's kind of younger into bourbon, like he had
Crown
chased
Royal
his,
Apple.
Nah, he had chased his Blantons, all that stuff. He was like, now what I'm really looking for is Taylor, and I was like, okay, well after dinner, like we could try it, we could try some,
Yeah.
and it was like that brought me so much joy. Like
Yeah.
I have not had joy around bourbon in forever, but watching somebody younger like sit there and drink, even the Taylor small batch or the we killed the last of that Maker's whatever.
The
what was-
BEP.
No,
Oh, the one you really liked.
the nice one that came out last year, that limited edition.
The one you, the one you were really
cask
hunting.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
just cast strength.
no,
No, it was a
it
special
like, yeah.
release.
Okay.
I forget what they cellar age.
Cellar age,
The
that's it,
Maker's
yeah.
cellar age.
Oh,
we
yeah,
killed
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We drank some Magnus together. Like we
That's
drank some
cool.
Remus Repeal, and he was just like, "I've never seen these bottles. I see about them on bourbon groups, all this stuff. Like, thanks
Yeah.
so much for sharing, whatever." But it was
Well,
just,
that's a great segue into something we've been talking about the last couple episodes too. This is a story you just told about what we see all the time. Don't pass up on the Blantons and the Eagle Rares and stuff if you can get a bottle, because you're going to have a young person come over and they're going to go, "My God, you got Blantons!"
yeah.
Give them a pour. Let them enjoy.
That's why I
it.
buy it.
Exactly.
That, if they come over and they've never had it and they've heard all about it because they think they want to get into bourbon,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it 100 times. I don't need more Blantons in my life.
No.
Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, and he was shocked that I had like an Eagle Rare store pick. He was like, "I've never seen one of those." Blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, "Dude, grab the bottle, bring it to the table, like just pour
Yeah.
yourself some. It's
That's
not
cool.
a big deal." Like, and he was just like, "Do you care how much I take of this, or that?" And I was like, "Fill your glass however much you want to." I think he poured 4 ounces of Taylor. I do not care. Like his
Nah.
wife drove him home. He was fine.
He was great.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can we go over there tomorrow?"
But it was kind of one of those things of like, I remember the joy of first being into bourbon, going over to somebody's house and them doing that with me, and I'm like, "Oh, I got to try this, got to try that, got to try that." Like, I don't know when my next opportunity will. He was kind of the same way, kind of giddy
Yeah,
about it.
that's
It was
cool.
super fun.
So I went to Buffalo Trace on the way down to the lake to
Did you
Tennessee.
get stuck with a Sazerac?
Yeah, no. And on the way back up. So on the way down, we hit them both on Friday. So on the way down that Friday, there was a line. We got in line, and I'm telling you, there's so many staff members there now at Buffalo Trace. That line moves like lickety
awesome.
split. You're
Yeah.
not
Good.
in line more than 10 minutes.
Mm.
And we probably got in line around 9:30, and we were out of there by 10, maybe 10:15 at the latest. By the time we got through, walked around, took our time just looking in the gift shop, got the bottles, had our grandson with us, got him a little mini buffalo stuffed animal that he was dying to
Yeah.
have. But they had Blanton's and Weller that day.
Oh, sweet.
So Weller is no longer the 3-month rule with Buffalo Trace. So if they have Weller, you can buy one per day. But if they have Weller later in the week and you're around, you want to get another one, you can. So at
Good.
least you're not in
As it should
3-month
be.
jail
As it
You're
should
talking
be.
about
Weller
special reserve.
Special reserve.
Yeah.
But we got Blant's, and on the way back up, same thing. Waited in line for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Got in, had Eagle Rare. We got 2 bottles of Eagle Rare. Got out. So,
Cool.
you know,
Yeah.
so I've got those. I like having those, like you said, Scott,
Yep.
for people that come over that enjoy, those products. And, we know a lot of people like them. And,
Well, if you happen to get your hands on a 175 of Eagle Rare, I need one.
yeah, I know. Well,
Every year.
I've got two 750s, but that's not the same.
It's not the same. Nope.
You
I've
need
got
the
a pretty
big
good
bottle.
hookup. He's always
Yeah.
doing me right. BJ
Yeah.
Ray, thank you very much.
I would say by next year we should be able to see that shit everywhere on the shelves.
I would hope so.
That's
I
what we
mean-
said last year.
Well,
It
no,
is what we
last
said
no
last
last
year.
year we were talking about the first ones being Sazerac and Buffalo Trace being everywhere, and now you're starting to see the Blantons popping up on shelves, Eagle Rare, at least 750 showing up on shelves.
Oh no,
It's
there's
coming.
175s
E.H.
out
Taylor's. Yeah,
there. Yeah, they are showing up like at Meyer. It's just
you just got to get
everybody's still grabbing them right now.
Yeah.
right? It's not quite enough to keep people like where they just don't see it and automatically buy it.
The
Right.
only one that I see all the time is Sazerac, and it's just
Everywhere.
It's everywhere now.
Sazerac,
them. Traveler.
It's like every single Meyer got an entire pallet of this stuff.
Yep,
And they've
yep.
just been
Yeah.
sitting on it ever since.
Well, I mean, if you go down to New Orleans, even when it was, supposedly
everywhere.
allocated, it was
Yeah.
everywhere in New
Mhm.
Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby Saz was all over the place. You could go to any liquor store, you could go to any bar. That's what they made their Sazeracs with.
See,
It
and
was
that's
just
why
standard.
I think they're Sazerac. That's why I think the Sazeracs aren't as good, most of them in New Orleans, because they start with Sazerac rye,
I'd agree.
and it's not the best rye
It's
for a
watered down
Sazerac.
by
You're
the
cocktail.
time
lucky
Tastes
both
it.
or isn't here. He would defend that
Oh.
hard.
No,
But I think-
Seagrass is
I
way
think
better.
that this place,
Seagrass is-
what this place does well is starts everything with about 100 proof whiskey.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Well, that's where it should be.
yeah.
100.
I think so. If you're going to water it down in a cocktail, like at least start with something that you'll be able to taste in the end.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Chris Gordon, he's going he's going across over to Branson, Missouri for a
Yeah.
family get together for a week. So
That's a cool area.
He did this really cool thing with his family, did this big bourbon tasting with his whole family. It was a huge hit. So now he's been challenged to do it again. So he's like, I got to amp it up. I got to get it better. But he wants to start with like a basic bourbon. So we were looking through my stuff yesterday, and we're like, okay, we came down to 3. And then these are the 3 we picked for the basics. And I wanted to see what you guys thought. So one was Knob Creek 9,
Okay.
Okay.
100 proof.
It's delicious.
One was Bullet, 90 proof, just straight Bullet. And the third one was, what the hell was the third one? May have been.
I knew he was talking about doing Heaven Hill Bottle and
It
Bond.
was heaven. No, it wasn't heaven.
That
Hill
wasn't
Bottom
probably
Bar.
the.
It may have just been regular old Elijah Craig. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Just
but I
small
thought-
batch.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Those
Just
are
a,
good
just
starts.
a baseline. Let's start here.
Yeah.
Pick out some classic bourbon notes that should be there, right? And
One of
And those are accessible.
my favorite things to do when taking somebody who's brand new to bourbon into the world is start with a corn whiskey.
okay.
And I would tell them, like, hey, taste this. Like, this is the basis. Adding rye, adding wheat is doing this differently. Honestly, recently when I've done it, I gave him mellow corn and then I gave him JTS brown. And it was like, JTS is a cheap bourbon. I mean, that's bourbon. It's
Yeah.
just bourbon. It's
Yeah.
good, but it's just bourbon. But I would say that if there is a corn whiskey, even a light whiskey of
That's a
some
good
sort,
idea.
like
yeah.
it helps people, or I think in my head, I would say that it helps people notice the actual corn notes in there.
Yeah.
Even though you're probably not going to want to finish that glass of mellow corn, it's not for me. But
Yeah.
but it is a valuable experience.
Yeah. I think it's all about building context, right?
Yeah.
You can taste a really, really good bourbon or a really good rye or a really good glass of wine. But if you don't have context of what entry level stuff tastes like, or like core flavors, like what you're talking
Yeah.
about, it's really hard to have some sort of context to know how this is. And I think I did this I was talking with Rob earlier. I had a Perdomo 20th anniversary. I think it was their sun grown last
Delicious.
night.
Yeah.
Well, I've always thought it was delicious.
Uh-oh.
And last night I'm smoking it at the horse track, and I'm like, man, this doesn't seem quite as good as I remember.
Yeah.
And then I have the Murcielago TAA,
Yeah.
and I'm like, shit, this is it's night and
Those are
day.
money.
It just kind of blew me away because I've always considered, Perdomo to be a pretty quality brand
Yeah.
and make some really good cigars.
Totally.
But you add context to it and you start smoking other things around it, or you do tastings where you start with some base products and then you move up to some high level stuff, you can really tell like what the differences are.
Yeah.
If you just drink the good stuff, you kind of lose that whole, what is it that's like the core elements and core flavors, or what is it when people are doing pour processes, or at least their low cost stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So context matters, and I love that
Yeah.
ways that you guys are talking about doing that.
I mean,
stuff.
and that has helped people when I've walked them through things. Say like, do you like it sweeter? Or if you were to pour a like Bullet bourbon leans a little bit spicier than something else.
Totally
so
agree.
So does Elijah Craig Small Batch. That is, I always think Small Batch drinks above its proof level. Like it's the one that if you throw it in a blind for me, I'm gonna get it wrong. I'm always gonna shoot it higher if I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But little things like that being like, hey, this is baseline. Here's Elijah Craig Small Batch. That's a bourbon whose primary, secondary grain is rye. And then you show them a makers, and it's like, that's wheat. So you've got corn, you got rye, you got wheat. And in that way, people are able to say, I don't think I like the spiciness as much as I like the wheat. Or you know what? I think I kind of am leaning towards that. But
Yeah.
that is
Well,
just one way to think about
then
it.
he's got next year's to be able to do it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If he's already got
exactly.
this year's set, they've already kind of
So he's going
coined
to
him
take
to do this.
for his higher ends. He's going to take a JT Mellick, which of course is 100% rice whiskey.
Yeah.
But he's got a lot of family from Louisiana. Some of them have never tried it, so they're going to enjoy.
Oh,
trying
that's
that.
great, because they'll be able to go back and get
and
it.
have a connection to it.
Yeah.
And then he's going to probably take I think he's going to take a Booker's. Not sure which one he's going to take. And then
You got to watch which bookers you're taking around people. Some of them drink like fire.
Oh yeah, I know. You got to kind
do.
of know which one, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to remember. He's got another one, another like pretty high proof one. I can't remember. Maybe that J. Rieger or something like that. I don't know.
Hey, I was drinking the Larceny A124 last night
Yeah.
at the track.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Gene. I know he's working hard on trying to get some better whiskeys in there. He's doing a great job. They got the Heaven Hill bottled and bond at some of the bars.
Yep.
And that Larceny A124,
It's very good.
Still very good.
it is so good. Every
Yeah.
single time I get it, I'm like, man, this is really fantastic.
Yeah. 524 is a bust.
Is it a bust?
524 is
Bummer.
we talked about this. Those early Larceny barrel proofs,
Terrible.
just too hot.
Too hot.
This A5 or this B524 that just came out, it's a throwback. It's way too hot. It's an ethanol burn your nose hairs off. It's just they had a miss on that one. So
That's my problem with some of the like Elijah Craig barrel proofs and the Larcenys. It's I have friends that love every single Elijah Craig barrel proof that's come out, and I think that they're solid, but they're not all for me. They're just not. Like those are a try before you buy for me, and normally by the time I've tried it, there's no way I'm gonna be able to buy it. So
and to be fair, that's N=1. So I'm not here to say don't try B524 or buy a bottle if you see it. By all means, if that's your jam, go for it.
Yeah.
And hey, see what you think. But
Well, especially if you're talking about, potentially making a cocktail out of it. It could be a very, very good cocktail
right.
Yeah.
whiskey, right? And I think lots of times we always focus on the whiskey itself.
Yeah.
And we're doing tastings and we're trying to, talk about the flavors and things, but there is different purposes, and making cocktails can be absolutely fantastic.
Yep.
I had an old fashioned last night at Fox Garden.
Yeah.
And I had them. They usually use just base Old Forester. Lower proof Old Forester. And I said, hey, put Maker's Cast Strength in it, which is still, it's going to be a little stronger, but Maker's Cast Strength is not going to break the bank on a cocktail. Oh my God, a million times better old fashioned. I mean, to me,
That's the thing is, I love Old Forester. I don't like it in cocktails. And maybe the 1920 will work fine in a cocktail, but you don't see that very often. But whenever you see a cocktail and they start with the regular old fashioned, it doesn't. It does. Right? I think it takes away from the cocktail some. Personally.
I would agree, but then you got something like B524 that you look at it and go, okay, high ethanol content. It's really aggressive. All right, what cocktail do I typically mix in? And then you kind of tend to lose the bourbon a little bit because the mixers can overtake it. Maybe this one stands up and really brings out the whiskey in a cocktail that traditionally doesn't have it as aggressively.
Yeah, so for me, like a cocktail that I would probably do that with is something that leans into the bitter or the more herbal notes. Like, I think about a Boulevardier or the Toronto.
Well, Manhattan usually does rye, but
I could see a blackberry smash or a blueberry smash, something like that, some sort of berry smash with it.
But something that you're actually adding other flavor to. Make an old fashioned with that. Sometimes the water or the cool hits it just right, and you're just like, this is even more ethanol.
Yeah, that's true.
So speaking of like cocktails, like what is your guys like go-to summer cocktail that involves bourbon? Like if you're going to be outside, it's hot, you don't want to sip on anything neat, you don't want a straight bourbon or something on the rocks, what's your go-to like summer bourbon cocktail?
Start down there.
No, actually, I can't even think of something that I would necessarily jump on other than like a ginger, just a ginger and
ginger beer, ginger ale.
No, ginger ale.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Ginger ale.
See, I'm kind of with. I mean, I do like in the summer. I do like mules. So like
mules are fantastic.
The brandy mule or a Kentucky mule. Not a big Moscow. I don't like vodka that much, but I mean it tastes fine with ginger beer. Yeah. So I do like mules in the summer a little bit.
I will. I think my favorite cocktail in the summer, just because it's refreshing, is a Boulevardier. That's a bourbon drink with Campari in it. Yeah. It's a little bit bitter, kind of nice, a little bit fruity. I would tell you the thing that I've been drinking most as far as summer cocktails has just been a like high quality spiced rum, which I've been using. Chairman's Reserve. From St.
That's what we use here.
From St. Lucia Distilleries, and mixing that with. So I'll mixing that with pineapple juice. So I'll do like 80-20 in a cup, and that's like my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Now, for some reason this year at the Independence Day party, the bourbon cocktail, like last year, it was gone. And this year we ended up with like 1.5 gallons left over.
So did you finish it off?
No, it's still sitting in the fridge. I meant to take it over to my parents over to the pool.
What was it?
So it was Maker's Mark, lemonade,
that's right,
grenadine, and bitters.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Peychaud bitters.
Yeah.
And
so you're getting the
good.
Sweetness from the lemonade and the grenadine.
And it is, you put it on ice, and it is very drinkable in the heat.
I'll tell you one that I know Tam drinks a lot of, and it's the Starlight Blackberry whiskey with lemonade. Blackberry lemonade, and it's a great summer drink. What's yours, Will?
I do tend towards long drinks in the summer. Like there's something about not having a whole lot of proof, especially if I'm sitting outside on the back porch.
Yeah. What about you?
Gold Rush. I like Gold.
I like Gold Rush.
Gold Rush. Is probably there. And then I've been playing around. We've got a ton of ripe peaches at home.
Gotcha.
So I've been playing with peach smashes, just trying to play around. There's so many different peach smash recipes.
You should make a peach syrup.
A peach syrup, okay.
Yeah.
That's a good
do like
idea.
a simple
peach
syrup
with peach.
Just cook it down.
Yeah. That would actually be good.
It's like you've got all these ripe peaches. Like, okay, either got to eat them, I got to cook them, or I'm gonna drink them. So I'm doing that.
I've also had friends that'll shove peaches just into a bourbon bottle, and like if you like the bourbon decent, and you just shove fruit of whatever kind in there, it's like. Yeah, I mean,
steeps over time.
It does.
Yeah.
And then you get the peaches out afterwards, and you're like,
Dude,
there's the alcohol.
These ripe peaches are so damn sweet. It's almost like you don't even need syrup.
Yeah. I know another one that I've had here recently is, I love old fashions. I like playing around with them, making weird, different old fashions. And lately I've been just doing, 2 ounces of bourbon, a little bit of my zero sugar simple syrup because I don't drink the regular simple anymore. And then I just do orange bitters and orange peel, and just do just make it just citrusy, and it makes it a nice brighter cocktail than the.
What bourbons are you typically using for that?
Honestly, usually a Heaven Hill. I mean, honestly, JTS Brown's great.
Yeah.
In a cocktail, it's probably better for a summer cocktail because it's a little lighter. But I can't get past Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond in a freaking old fashioned, man. It makes a perfect old fashioned.
But you're using one that has a lot more of those darker, a lot more of those like brown sugar-esque nutty notes, and then adding that like kind of floral citrusy topping. So that makes a lot of sense. I think if you were to do that with something like Barrel Vantage, it might be overload, but something with
could be, but it could
notes,
be good. I mean, it could be very good. I mean,
see, in the summertime, bourbon isn't always my first go-to when it's really hot in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
I really like Tom Collins.
I love those.
Yeah,
I like him too, and I
It's
remember
like,
drinking them
it's
when I was
just like
young.
gin lemonade.
That's
dude.
it. That's
Yeah.
all it is.
Lemonade.
It's gin and lemonade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simple and it's super refreshing.
Yeah.
And even if you're not a gin fan,
Yeah.
if
You
you
don't
get the
taste
right
the gin,
gin,
yeah.
if you just got to get the right one.
Get a
right?
citrus
Get a
gin.
citrus forward gin.
Yep.
and you're
Yeah.
good.
Absolutely.
And I will tell you, like, my favorite gin for drinks like a Tom Collins has been the Kirkland Signature gin. And
Really?
now
There you go.
I do like gin.
Yeah.
I do like gin. I will say that.
I do
So,
too.
It's not for if you want something that's more citrus forward, Uncle Val's. Uncle Val's is going to be the gin for you. But if you just straight up like gin or you're going to put it in cocktails, the Kirkland Signature one, I don't think you can beat it.
I'll tell you, two of the most unique gins, I shouldn't say unique. Starlight's gin is definitely more citrus forward, and it's actually a nice citrusy.
Yeah.
But the one we had down 8th Day on our barrel pick,
Oh yeah, that was really good.
they had all the botanicals in there, and they also
Yep.
they added anise to it, so it gave you almost a little bit of absinthe kind of note. I really like that in a gin too.
So I've got a Starlight gin that's the 7-year aged. It's 100 proof.
Oh.
And it brought out a lot more of the like black pepper notes in it. It's great on its own. It's also fantastic in cocktails.
And they're aging that in barrels too, so they're getting a little bit of color to it too.
yeah. I mean, it comes out lighter than a whiskey.
Sure, it's
but
they're not charring the barrels though. I don't think, are they?
I think that they're just using used barrels.
Used barrels. Okay, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I know. Like Rabbit Hole, they do a barrel aged gin. They don't
Yeah.
distribute it. If they do, it's very, very limited. They don't. That's not their main. Like they're not pushing it to distribute it. You can get it at the distillery. I've tasted it there,
Yeah.
and it's a phenomenal gin. Yeah.
But a Gold Rush, if you swap the bourbon for gin, you end up with a bee's knees.
Yeah.
Also a fantastic
So,
cocktail.
so tell people the recipe on that. It's super simple.
So I think it's 2 ounces of your spirit, either bourbon or gin, which determines the name. I do a 1/2 ounce of honey syrup and a 1/2 ounce of lemon.
juice.
Shake it.
Yeah.
Anything with juice, like real juice, should be shaken. It gets a little bit frothy, a little bit foamy.
Yep.
Double strain it. It's fantastic. Normally you don't serve it on the rocks. You're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Well, and that's a good point because that's the one thing that I've read, and I think you just said it too. With when you're adding citrus juice of any kind, you should shake it because the acids and stuff need to be shaken to get that kind of frothiness going.
It's
If you
really
just
nice
stir it,
texturally.
it tastes like you're tasting each individual ingredient as opposed to shaking it together.
Yeah.
It really does. It's
It
something
gets a
different.
little bit frothy, a
It
little
does.
bit
Yeah.
foamy. I like it.
Another great bourbon cocktail that I've had at Fox Garden because they make some excellent cocktails
do.
there.
They do.
They make a New York sour.
Oh, that New York sour is the best thing they
which
make
is
there.
The,
Oh,
which is a true to form sour
Yeah.
with the egg whites froth.
Yeah.
And the New York sour, they do a like a Cabernet Sauvignon floater on top.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Now,
it's
I haven't had that
exquisite.
there.
I
man.
will tell you, I've been there a couple different bartenders. Again, every bartender does things differently. If you get Courtney, get the New York sour because hers, the Cabernet is separated. It's floating on top of the meringue on top, and
It's
it's
an art.
perfect.
It's a work
Some
of
of them will mix everything together and it just becomes this kind of purpley cocktail.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's not what you want.
When it's separated like it. Oh, so freaking
You want
good.
it to float. You want the cab floating
Yes.
on
So
top. Yeah.
my sour at home, I would do a typical sour recipe, which is lemon simple. You're doing a dry shake with the egg white, then you put in your spirit, all that deal. My favorite thing to do as a floater is just Angostura bitters.
Yeah, yeah,
And
that's
it
good
is-
too.
It's fantastic.
I'm gonna
I
have to try that. I haven't done that one before.
You should.
So
Yeah,
I
you
will
should.
say another thing too.
you gotta
you
gotta go hard on the dry shake. On
Oh
it.
yeah,
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 you do, yeah.
Like, do
when,
not play with
when
it.
you're talking
One
about
of the easy ways to do that, by the way, is on your strainer.
Yeah.
Like if you've got an actual real bar strainer,
Yeah.
take the spring off of
God,
it
yeah.
and put that in
It's just extra
because then it
agitation.
acts like a whisk while you're shaking it.
That's
yeah, it just
That's true.
agitates
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was gonna say, could you use a milk frother? You think? Or
I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
probably could. Same effect.
maybe froth
Yeah.
it up.
or
It
you
doesn't
know
look
those
as nice.
shaker glass. You could probably throw that little ball that's a metal ball in the bottom of your shaker and do the same thing.
Probably
Do very
yeah.
something similar too.
Yeah.
So
Except
talking
for a little
about
metal ball with, if you got glass on the other end of your shaker.
it depends if you're using a metal shaker or not.
Yeah, it's.
I've got
So,
metal at the house.
I got a metal
Yeah.
shaker too.
I use metal and
So
glass.
one thing I will say, since we're talking about cocktails right now, if you're making honey simple, It's not half and half.
It's not.
You need a little more honey because the water will water it down too much, and you just get a watery honey. It's not very good.
So I
usually do about 3/4 to a quarter.
So I follow a. It was in a cocktail chemistry book that I had read, and they said the point of making a honey syrup is just to make it pourable.
Yeah.
So they would this book literally said pour as much honey as you'd like to use, and then dilute it with hot water until you can pour it out of your
Still going to coat the glass,
jigger.
but it's not going to be running down the glass. Yeah.
So and by that, I can't tell you how to make it. I literally just eye it every single time.
Yeah.
and
You know when
works.
it's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I got to say, when it comes to cocktails, I'm super excited about our group that's going down to Orange Beach in the fall.
Yeah.
Because there's the Wolf Lodge down there, restaurant, or Wolf Bay. I think it's Wolf Bay. And their blackberry bourbon smash is pretty much become my favorite, one of my
On
at
the
least
beach
top
cocktail.
3 or 4 bourbon cocktails.
Oh, yeah?
Wow.
Seriously. I mean, they just,
I may have to start playing around
Mary
with that
down
here.
there, she just crushes it. And normally when you get those, it's like all the berry comes through and the bourbon doesn't.
Well, and the thing that bothers me, especially with a blackberry smash, is if they haven't double strained it, you end up with all the little
seeds.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
That,
Yep. Yep, which
that
there's
bothers
none
me.
of that.
Yeah.
Right, and it's got a little bit of that mint in it,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
right? So
Oh,
it's just a soft muddle, and man, I'm telling you that it's so damn
So,
good.
I am gonna
You're
say-
gonna have to work on that one.
Oh, we're gonna be drinking a lot down there. First thing we're drinking, though, I'm telling you right now, the very first thing we're doing is Bush.
I don't think you understand how much I drink.
Exactly. Yeah. The first thing we're doing, though, is we're taking Bushwhacker to have a Bushwhacker.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well-
you guys know Will and Liesel.
Have you met them yet?
I don't know.
I don't
that
think
you
you've
have.
met him
No
yet.
will. I don't know.
Yeah. Liesel's his girlfriend.
Liesel's
Gotcha.
girlfriend, and Liesel dove through a hedge
Yeah.
down at the front gate of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Dove into it.
Why?
Into it because she thought it looked really soft and
Because
she always
it's
wanted
there.
to do it.
Yeah.
And it was there.
That is not soft.
It's not
No, it
soft.
wasn't.
She scratched herself so
did.
badly all up and down her legs.
She did.
And now Will started calling her Bushwhacker because they're going down with us to Orange Beach.
What a
And,
great cutesy name for
oh,
your
right.
Bushwhacker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bushwhacker.
Which the Bushwhackers in Orange Beach. I mean, that's like their official drink
is.
down
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's really
So
good.
I know McGuire's does they have the Irish Wake, which is very similar. The Irish Wake is in the big,
Huge.
big glass, and
Yeah,
it's got
Janelle had one. I
so
didn't
much
have 'em,
freaking
but-
alcohol in it,
Yeah.
and it's so good. But I'm sure it's not good alcohol. It's just well done.
Well, when I tasted it, I was like, this is very sweet and probably very, very strong. And she definitely felt it. Definitely felt it by the
Have you
time.
guys
we were
gotten
leaving.
into much of Irish whiskey or Scotch cocktails?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite Irish ones is the Dark and Stormy.
I haven't had that one yet.
Yeah.
What's in that?
I thought you made that with rum. You don't make it with.
No,
Irish
there's a version that has there's a version that was popular when I was in Nashville that had Jameson in it.
Okay.
But it has a dark rum float on it.
Final Third Cigar is Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. Come to Final Third for a selection of over 20 different Aladino cigars, including the Cameroon, a wonderful cigar with nice light flavors. Make sure and visit Final Third, the Aladino exclusive cigar lounge for Indiana. I did the Harris read-through one time.
One take, Scott.
One take.
Oh
Yeah,
my
good
gosh!
for you. Good
So,
for you.
yeah.
And there was tongue twisters in that.
There
one. I'm
was,
like, damn.
right. The hip hop, bebop, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. The hell.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah,
It worked.
yeah.
That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
That was cool.
No, there's another one. What's it called? It's a Scotch cocktail with amaretto, and that's all it is.
Yeah.
Equal parts, and it's like a very popular. What's the name of that cocktail? God dang it! It's one of the biggest Scotch cocktails out there that people order, and I made. I'm like,
I don't
yeah,
know,
it's
man.
pretty
I've
good.
I've always Scotch. I've not done a lot because it's like, what are you gonna do? It's blended Scotch. I don't know. It's not my. Not
I
my
mean,
jam.
you
One
honestly,
of my-
most of them you have to do space side.
one
You
of-
can't really. I mean, you
What,
can,
what are what's one of the most standard everyday blended scotches? There's a couple of them.
Monkey
out
Shoulder
there.
is
Walker,
probably the
right?
most popular.
I would, yeah, I'd either say Johnny Walker or Monkey Shoulder. Monkey Shoulder
Yeah,
looks
Monkey
a lot
Shoulder.
better on the bar. But
Yeah.
one of my favorite Scotch cocktails, and I will get it with all Isla,
Yeah.
Because
No, I like
because I
Island.
love the peat is called a tattletale, and that was made by Sam. I forget his last name, but he's at Milk and Honey in New York City. It's his own specialty drink. I've never been to New York City. I found this cocktail, but
You're not missing much.
yeah. But
New
but
York City.
it's lemon.
They make great
simple. It's normally supposed to be a Highland or a Speyside Scotch as a base with a super peated Isla float on it.
Ooh.
But what I'll do is a blended Scotch, like peated Scotch base with an Isla float, and it when I want the campfire in my mouth, that's the cocktail for me.
Yeah, I have definitely come around to peated scotches. Yeah,
I'm glad. I'm glad.
I have come to the dark side.
It takes a while.
Yeah.
It does take. If you're not immediately into it, you got to kind of work your way into it. And there's some good ones out there you can start with that get just a hint of peat and then work your way up. But yeah, once you get going on it, it's kind of hard to back off.
It really is the good ones. Yeah.
I still think one of my my favorite peated scotches are any of really a lot of the Bruichladdich stuff. Like they do no wrong for me, especially Octomore. Octomore, if you can afford it, if you can afford to pour, or you're just treating yourself, like fantastic. But Lafroig 10 cask strength for all of time is probably my favorite.
So good.
Yeah, the Lagavulin cast strength too. I really like.
I don't think I've had that.
Yeah, I had that down in Kentucky. A friend of mine that pulled it. I said, "You got to try this," and it was amazing.
I'm sure I'm butchering it. Everybody in Scotland will think I'm an idiot for all of our Scottish listeners. But the Céol de Isla,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's
I don't know how
say
you
it,
pronounce it either.
but it's
Yeah,
really,
just
really good.
Scott reaching back to his Mexican heritage.
Exactly. Yeah. No, the one I was talking about was the Godfather. The Godfather.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
And really-
there's Bushwhacker. There's
Hey! Yeah. So the Godfather. It literally is just Scotch, amaretto, and then a couple shakes of the Angostura bitters.
That sounds nice.
It's pretty nice.
That's not bad. So let's
right.
let's talk about some other stuff here. Well, first of all, something drives me nuts about this time of year. I'm not a big baseball fan. Okay, it's fine.
I don't think anybody is.
I like-
there
I
is
like
some
playing.
people out there, but I whatever, watch the playoffs, that kind of
It's
thing.
fun to go to a game.
But like right now, I like golf, but nobody's playing pro golf except for the bottom like 150 players
Right.
because they're all waiting for the British Open, right? So
Right.
they're all, I think they're playing in Scotland next weekend and then the Open after that. And there's nothing. There's no sports. There's like not a damn thing on
There's
right now.
baseball, and then there's Indiana Fever. That's
That's
about
that.
it,
You know
yeah.
what? That's a great call out because the
Yeah.
Fever, they don't play as often as like the NBA plays during their season.
They're killing it.
So-
But they are their first rookie triple double ever for Caitlin
Yes.
Clark.
Yeah.
Last night, and they came back and beat the best team in the league.
Yes, they did.
That was
they're
awesome.
finally getting together and making it work. Now
But it's 94 days until opening day. Of
that's what
the
matters
NHL.
for
Yes.
hockey. Yes, there is of course auto racing on right now.
Yeah.
IndyCar's on at the moment.
Yeah,
and, so there's that going on. I'm actually leaving
Yeah, the
Wednesday.
Brickyard's in what, 2 weeks?
I
3
think so.
weeks? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm leaving
Yeah.
Wednesday for Iowa. Going to go to the Hy-V IndyCar race.
Oh,
This will
cool.
be the
Okay. Yeah.
third consecutive. So they're going to do they always do a double header, night race on Saturday, and then they race something like 14 hours later,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and I think we're
Yeah.
2 weeks away from training camp starting for NFL.
We're
Yeah.
getting there, but this like 2 week period, maybe 3 weeks, is
It's a long-
brutal.
And then we got the
Yeah.
Olympics coming up in
We
a couple
do
of
have
weeks.
the Olympics coming up. They're just finishing up trials,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
across the board. They had the swim trials here in Indy, and I saw the track and field
And those
trials.
are always fun
Yeah.
to watch, even if you don't care about sports.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's enough
absolutely.
going on that it's fun to have.
Especially
Hey, come on!
in
You
the
can watch
pool.
Simone Biles all day long,
Well,
right? That girl's incredible.
She's incredible. But in the
Yeah.
pool right now, we have a ton of kids in the central Indiana region that are actually going to be in the Olympics.
There's what, like 6 or 8?
Yeah.
something like
Crazy.
that.
Crazy.
Swimmers, that one girl, she ended up breaking
You know,
the world
Indiana,
record.
We're known for our water.
Exactly.
There's water everywhere.
It's limestone.
Right.
It's a limestone shelf.
Limestone shelf.
Yeah, I think I heard it was something like since we've had a diver from IU in the Olympics every single Summer Olympics since like 1964.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's cool.
Something like that.
Good for
Yeah,
Indiana.
Like 50, 60 years.
There's something in the water river at Carmel. I don't know what it is.
Oh
but
man, there's a
Those
lot
Caddy's
of kids.
money.
Those
That's
kids
what's in
come
the
out
water.
of
Steroids. Steroids. They're just dumping bucketfuls of steroids
you're-
into the
if
pool.
you're
It's
born in-
fluoride. It's turning the freaking frogs
If you're
gay.
born in, if you're born in Carmel, you come out of the womb swimming.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
that's
do.
for
Breaststroke.
Throw them in, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well,
an
okay,
Alex
so I do
Jones
know
breaststroke.
Will's got
Nice.
something he wants to
Yeah.
Yeah.
show to the whole podcast.
Okay.
And by the way, this is might be one you guys want to see on YouTube.
Oh, did
Yeah,
you get a
I'll see
tattoo
if
as
I
well?
can bring it out. So
He didn't get a tattoo yet.
I'll bring box number 1 here first. So we have this.
You're going to talk into the mic there, Will. I
Yeah,
still wanna
sorry.
hear it.
We have this. We started this whole saying. So if you know the movie Major League, you know that Pedro Serrano was like one of the characters who always prayed to Jobu,
Absolutely.
the voodoo god that gave him the strength to crush home runs.
If you
every
don't
day.
help me hit curveball, then
Yeah.
fuck you, Joe.
Fuck you, Jobu. Yeah,
I don't think I have it
even
on the board.
We have,
Yeah.
we do have
Oh,
it
we
on the
do?
board. Yeah,
I
somewhere.
got to find it there.
Here, we'll go through them.
No, I don't think I have it anymore.
No, I
Maybe
think Mike
I think Mike
replaced
took it off.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so I thought it'd be funny if we got the Jobu doll and had it on the podcast just as a regular stand-in, so we could always go to.
It's the shrine.
So I got the first Jobu, and this is how the package came.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, oh, this is not gonna be
Jobu
good.
was not happy
So
that
then
we were
I
looking
opened
at
the box.
some
Back of the box.
disrespect there.
Then I opened the box, and this is how it is. I'm like, man, this is not good.
Uh-huh.
Then I open it again, and I've got this, and then
Oh,
I get
gosh, it's gonna be
Jobu.
everywhere.
I'll bring Jobu out.
Oh, dog's seen better days.
Jobu. The Pedro Serrano locker was like this,
Yeah.
and Jobu is literally broken,
Oh, man.
Oh my.
We're gonna,
broken into pieces.
Oh, ouch.
I think that one should be. In
oh,
the
we're gonna,
be the
podcast.
we're gonna
official.
glue that one together.
Yeah.
It's wrong, you know.
Yeah.
Jobu's all broken. His arm's missing. So we've got, this is what I call, this is the true Jobu curse, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Getting Jobu
yes.
like this.
Yeah.
So I now have,
Is he a bobblehead or just a statue?
Just a
Just
statue.
a statue.
so I now,
That's
from,
big enough.
So yeah, now you.
shout out to Clark Toys, because I emailed them. I'm like, hey guys, come on. This is what I got. They never responded to me.
Do you want a knife?
Never said a word. Yeah, I'll take a knife. And they sent me another one. So we're going to open
Cool.
this now and
Nice.
see
So
where
we're gonna
we're
see
at.
if this
we
one's
got
any
a
better.
The box is in
Online.
good condition.
Yeah.
It's actually an unboxing right here.
Yeah. Welcome back to Unbox Therapy.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to unbox Jobu.
Oh well, the locker looks good. The locker
locker
looks
looks
good.
clean.
All right,
Yep.
all right.
Jobu's gonna be perfect,
The
and
locker's
nobody's gonna
intact.
like him.
No.
they saw his predecessor.
We will now open.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Everything looks
Everything
good.
looks pretty. Oh, foam was looking good.
See if I can pull this out.
Yeah,
He's making sure to get styrofoam everywhere.
and he
Now-
is he pristine?
I can pull Jobu out.
Cautiously.
Wow.
We have a fully intact Jobu.
There we
Yes,
go. Yeah.
there he is.
So we're going to call this good Jobu, and we're going to call this one bad Jobu.
Yeah.
So you're either getting good Jobu vibes, or you're going to get bad Jobu vibes.
Got it. Got
All
it.
right, we got to put him out here, so we'll get him out on the table.
He got some
So-
styrofoam
Is
in
that
his
foam
eye
on
there.
his eye?
I
Let's
think
see.
it's, yeah.
Both of them had styrofoam on the eye.
Yeah.
There we
So
go.
this will be our official
That's on your
Jobu,
shirt,
so
Rob.
That's
Perfect.
okay. It's all good.
We'll glue this guy's arm back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get him together. It'll be fine.
Anyway,
So Jobu is now part of the podcast.
Yeah.
good
Fuck
Jobu.
you, Jobu.
Fuck you, Jobu.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it.
I'm
Love our
partial to the
Jobus.
mangled one.
I will tell you, Mike and I
He's
went
got a
on
lot of character.
when we first started talking about this. Mike and I went on a deep dive, and
Yeah.
the only Jobu dolls you could find were on eBay from the original shipment back when Major
Wow.
League came out,
Wow.
and they were like $500 to $700 to buy them. We're like, it's not that funny.
Yeah, this
I'm
was
surprised you
definitely
couldn't
not
find one
$500.
on Amazon. Like,
The Amazon had one which
This is Amazon.
you got that from
yeah.
Amazon. The Amazon ones we found back then were literally like a fake one that looked horrible. I'm like, can't get that one.
I think
But,
that would be even
You know,
funnier.
I do have a button on here that's got like a bunch of symbols that look like a cuss word. What do you
Yeah.
think? You think that's it? Try it. It's nothing.
It's nothing. Thanks,
It's
Mike.
nothing.
Thanks,
Way to go,
Mike, for
Bother.
nothing.
Wow.
But hey, shout out to Clark Toys for sending us
Thank you, Clark
fully
Toys.
intact. Thank you, Clark
Yep.
Toys.
Yep.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Not good communication, but good service.
absolutely.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'd take good service. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a bad shipment of Jobu dolls that week, and that's what happened.
The curse hit.
Yeah.
Somebody got the curse of
I'm
Joe Boo
sure
and ran his fork
everybody-
truck through the pallet.
I'm just sure that that's an extremely popular toy.
Yeah, you know that.
Every kid's asking that
ship
for
hammers
Christmas.
out
kid's
every
got a
week.
Joe Boo one.
Isaiah.
That and the Cabbage Patch dolls, those things are just sitting in the closets together.
Yes.
You can hear
Cabbage Patch
Oprah
dolls.
going, "You get a Joe Boo, and you get a Joe Boo, and you get a Joe Boo."
Everybody gets a Joe Boo.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great, man.
So what are we drinking next? Because I see some empty glasses.
Yeah, there's a lot of empty glasses here.
Here, you guys go ahead and
So,
start that in. I
Yeah,
can
this
finish
is a
mine.
Doc Swinson's exploratory cask golden
cool.
hour. So this is 7-year, pretty sure it's 95.5 MGP.
Delicious.
Finished in a newly charred oak barrel, then finished secondary in a rum barrel, and then third finished triple finished in a port barrel.
Wow.
So
nice.
this
double
was
oak.
we
with-
did a Club Marzipan pick with the same one. Seal box. Listen, you get about 7 out of 10 right. This is not the bottle that I picked or that we picked, but this one is, I thought, really good.
Good.
So I'm going to send Sealbox an email tomorrow and say, hey, by the way, you just sent me the wrong one. Can you send me the right one?
Well, hopefully they haven't sold out of the other one.
Yeah, that's a good point. But anyway,
It's our broken. We have a
That's
broken
Joe Boo.
broken Joe Boo and a perfectly intact.
bad Joe Boo and good Joe Boo.
That's right.
Yeah, it's just foam stuck to him. It looks like acne, doesn't it? Yes, it
We
does.
do need to get him a little. What was it? A little joint or a little cigar or something? What was he smoking there?
We do need to give him a cigar to put on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Probably have
probably
to hit
shouldn't
up
have
the
a joint
scrounge
here.
around
Yeah.
and pick it off of something.
But Doc Swinson's is an NDP, which that stands for non-distiller producer. So they do not distill. They source barrels, and then they do their magic with their maturation process.
Which again, we're totally fans of Source.
yeah.
There's no
So,
problem with that. Finish it and do your own thing.
I'm so glad that's not an issue
these
anymore.
Doc Swinson picks do really well in competitions. They always seem to do well. So
Thank you, sir.
I
mean,
think this one is very well. I'll let everybody kind of. I won't.
the thing is,
Put anything in anybody's head.
if it's
Thank you,
MGP, which we think it is, if you treat it right, you're able to make it into something special. But you're already starting with something great.
yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
I really wish that distillers would do like what Mark does over at Moondrops and just put it on there. Just
yeah,
put it on. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with saying this is who distilled it and giving credit there,
yeah.
and then saying, hey, we took what we think is already a pretty darn good product and we made it better. Right?
Right.
We did
Because
our own
they've-
flavor to it.
Because they finished this, they're just able to say produced by,
Right.
aren't they? They don't.
Yes.
Do they have to list distiller?
They have to list
Will?
who. They have
It
to list
says
where
distill-
it's
It
distilled.
does say distilled in Indiana.
Gotcha.
So that's
Yeah.
probably MGP.
But I
like-
will say there are places that don't put the distilled by. It just
Yeah,
says
they
produced
produce.
by on the bottle. That may be the way they're getting around it. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm a fan of giving credit where credit is due and saying, hey,
100%.
we started there, but then we took it to the next level.
Yep.
And that's always great.
Ooh,
Yeah. I haven't got into it.
So
not
thi-
gonna lie, it smells like MGP. Not a bad thing.
Not a
It's
bad
a very
thing at
good
all.
thing. But I'm not getting a lot of as much of the
The
fruit on
rum
this
and the
one.
port that you'd normally.
I get a nice rum presence.
I do
on it.
too.
Do you?
There's a
Nose.
lot of that like
I think
vanilla,
that last
simple,
one-
sugary sort of rum thing that I
When I
typically get.
when
It
I
could
tasted
be
it the
maybe
other
a
night,
little
the first thing that popped in my head was like a rum-soaked raisin cake, like a cakey, raisiny kind of rummy thing going on.
It makes your mouth water.
Yeah, it does. It's like
Oh,
it's like Midwinter's
Yeah.
was produced in a
ones.
rum distillery.
Yeah,
It's not port heavy, which I actually
No.
appreciate because normally like something that's finished in port would just be slathered in.
What do you
But
think
the
they
long
wrote
finish
this?
is definitely port. It's
Yeah.
it's present.
So
Yeah.
what do you two think the proof is on this one? You probably already know, right?
I don't remember.
What's
Okay.
the proof?
Yeah, what do you think proof
I
is
think
just
I
by
remember,
tasting
but
it?
I will keep my mouth shut. Yeah.
I'm going to say 116.
I was gonna guess like 110.
I was gonna say 116, 115. Yeah,
98.
98 proof. Wow.
No
drinks
kidding.
above its.
It
Proof.
drinks well
It
above
does.
its proof.
Well, and we've had a lot of proofy things today.
Yeah.
Which is
It holds
kind of
up
crazy
nice.
that it.
It does tingle your tongue. That
Yeah.
way, though.
That's
Yeah,
the
it
one
does.
thing I think a lot of people don't realize is, yeah, you can throw everything out at barrel proof, but that's one thing like Angel's Envy.
I'm
They
not sure I'd
chose
want
to-
this at barrel proof.
No. That's
Yeah.
But that's what I think. That's
I
Might
don't.
blow your head.
the right.
blow
The
your head
people
off,
that are
yeah.
putting out the products that know what they're doing, they know where to proof it down to the profile that they're trying to get out of it, as
Yeah.
opposed to here it is at cast strength. It may be great, it may be overproofed.
That
This
being
is actually
said, Angels, if that barrel is still
Oh.
alive and going,
right. Oh,
please let us do a pick and do it at cast strength. What was that pick? It was a bourbon finished in port or something, and it was just the thickest, chocolatiest, like,
it was
oh
great.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I would.
Best thing I've ever had, obviously, from Angel's Envy.
I
by
think it's one
far.
of the like top finished whiskeys I've ever had.
Yeah, very, very good.
I have tasted their new bottled and bond unfinished
Oh, how is
bourbon
it?
they put out. Very fruity,
Okay.
floral.
Was it a 4-year?
Yeah. Well,
Was
at
it
least,
four?
right?
I
Yeah.
thought it was 5. Yeah, I was thinking it was around 5.
But it was a weird
You
bottle.
said bottled and bond, right?
It was bottled in
Yeah.
bond, but it
So
was
at least
cast
4.
So
strength.
you can be a
bottled
4
and
years.
bond at 100
You could be a
proof.
bottled and bond 6-year, like Heaven Hill
Yeah.
bottled and
Yeah.
bond, or
7 now.
It just has to
7.
be at least
Whatever.
4.
at least 4.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
very good. I like that a lot.
That is really
Yeah, I think
good.
this is solid. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it as good as the marzipan pick?
No.
No.
I want my money back.
Of
still.
course
Okay,
not.
guys, I know I'm a little bit ahead of everybody on the
Yeah.
cigar. I'm in the final third.
There's another
here.
one there for you if you want one.
Yep, I'm going to get into that shortly. But wow, the black pepper on the retro kicks up massive at the tail end of this, which I do find kind of.
I'm already into the black pepper, and I'm
yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
I'm not even in the
like
final
it
third
is.
yet.
It is.
I'm just finishing up the second.
bite the back of your throat
Yeah.
there. So
It makes your
that's-
nose tingle.
It does.
I'm kind
Yeah.
of starting. I'm leaving the second third right now, and it definitely mellowed a little bit though to me. I thought that. At least
I thought in the middle it was
notes-
totally mellow.
Yeah.
I thought
Are
all
you
the flavor was
retro-hilling
mellow.
it right now?
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about the retro.
Not the retro,
yeah,
on the
but
palate.
just
You're right, on the
generally
palate.
common, yeah.
Yes, I think on the palate it did actually. Even now, it doesn't seem as aggressive as it did at the beginning.
Yeah.
But the retro, the black pepper just
It's
Yeah.
leaning towards
Crazy
that
picked
that
up.
that toast, that kind of like a rye toast note on the palate.
Yeah.
And then the
I think
pepper
so.
just hits your nose like, whoa.
which
here
I
we go.
actually really like. This is actually kind of impressing me quite a bit because of that difference between the retro and what's going on in my palate, because the palate is so much more balanced than what it was at the beginning. That it's kind of throwing me. It's normally you expect these things to pick up and pick up and pick up the later you get into the cigar.
I thought the first third was very spicy,
Yep.
and then it just kind of settled down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything on the tip of the tongue anymore. I'm not getting anything, that's really like snagging my palate and going, oh man, that's really aggressive. It's much more balanced, but that
So-
retro's real.
So if you haven't had this one, come in and get it. It's the
Do
Las
yourself a
Calaveras.
favor.
It's the orange box.
Yeah.
Is what this one is. The blue box is even older.
Also delicious.
It's great.
Yeah.
This one's that broadleaf, and it's really really nice.
Yeah.
So
These are just expertly done. I have not had a single one that didn't get better with age. That I can't talk about the 24 because I haven't seen it yet. But
No,
every
it's
other
not out
year
yet.
that I've had, it's been made at the My Father factory. Like my father
think it
knows
still
what
is.
they're doing.
I think
Yeah.
it still is. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're doing a wonderful
Well, and that's
job.
we're only halfway through the year, and one of the predictions I had was I thought we'd see a lot more San Andreas releases this year.
I was
Actually,
hoping.
we've seen a lot more broadleaf releases so far, which I'm not mad about.
No problem with that at all.
And broadleaf has always been that one leaf that everyone says is so hard to get, but it seems like there's quite a bit of it this year. I mean, those chef specials are very special.
Yeah.
So
So I was reading up on some history because of Independence Day.
Okay.
And obviously, the country started with the original 13 colonies becoming the 13 states. And there was some discussion about, I was going back and looking at rebellions in the United States. There's a great Wikipedia article out there. If you haven't, there's actually 2 I saw, rebellions and disputed presidential elections. Two
So,
very good.
All of that being said, he just said he read it on Wikipedia.
Correct.
So
Okay,
do not
so-
write a report based
No,
off
it's not.
of this. Based
Look,
off of this
it is
podcast.
not meant for you to write a report. Okay, it's just meant to go and find out interesting stuff that happened in history, right?
Exactly,
So there was,
yeah.
you find out that the first presidential election that didn't have George Washington running was disputed and settled by Congress.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, right. And we
So
all
it's
think,
nothing new.
like the one in 2000. Oh, that was such a big deal. No, it happened 200 years previous in 1800. So there's nothing new there.
Yeah.
Nothing new about what happened, in 2020 either. That stuff has happened. It's a part of our history. It's kind of just part of our country. But what I was getting to was a lot of the discussion about the Connecticut River Valley, which is where Connecticut leaves come from.
Right.
And I don't know if any of you have heard of any tours or any way to go and visit up in Connecticut and see what goes on up there.
Well, there's no production going on there. It's just growing tobacco. So you'd have to probably go to a farm and a farmer and just
talk to him and ask.
You'd have to.
Are there Connecticut leaves coming from elsewhere though?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I mean, actually, more Connecticut comes out of Ecuador than anywhere in the world now.
But I do think it's really interesting that that's still a thriving tobacco growing community, all in that river valley.
Mostly for dip and stuff like that.
Well, not the broad or not the shade as much. A lot of the burley is what you get for the tobaccos for chewing tobacco and pipe tobacco and stuff like that.
Well, my wife has family up there in Connecticut. I definitely think it might be.
That'd be fun to
worth
check out.
taking a trip and seeing if we can get to a farm and
knocking on somebody's door.
I would absolutely.
Hey, here's the deal. I think if you showed up with a couple racks of Busch Light, they'd say, I'll
let's
take you
go.
out for
Come
the
on.
day.
And like Will said before, you grew up in North Carolina and you used to work on a tobacco farm.
South Carolina.
Or South Carolina.
I've never seen Connecticut shade.
No.
In South Carolina, it's all like you said.
It's all burley. Yeah.
It's
But honestly, it makes sense why they're doing that because they're selling more to cigarette companies than anybody in the world.
You spend so much money trying to shade that tobacco, you'd lose money in a second.
Well, and that's the reason why if you get a Connecticut wrapper, like a shade wrapper, out of the Connecticut Valley versus Ecuador. In Connecticut Valley, you're going to get kind of a bitterness out of the creaminess of the tobacco, where when you go Ecuador, it is naturally shade grown because of the cloud cover, and you get a sweeter, creamier note to it. So that's the difference. Some people love that kind of bitter note. I'm not a big fan.
There was one time that Trey Mack brought us an experimental cigar. I don't know if anything ever happened to it, but it was all U.S. And that was a smoking that I thought, okay, like this is quintessential U.S. tobacco.
Yeah.
Ever since I smoked that U.S. Puro, I think it was mostly from Kentucky.
It was.
I can taste U.S. tobacco in every single other cigar, and it almost puts me off. There was I forget what cigar it was. There was one that I was like, I am dead certain this has got U.S. tobacco in it. I looked it up and it was like Pennsylvania, and I was like,
really?
Yeah, that's flipping me out.
Well, and
it's a very, especially that Pennsylvania. You get into the darker stuff, and it kind of does that bitter thing.
Bitter,
is it pungent? Is it like?
I think so.
A little bit, yeah.
Also, I smoked a lot of pipe tobacco in college. It was cheaper than buying cigars, and that was just like. So I had already kind of grown accustomed to that flavor. It doesn't bother me, but when it's in a cigar that has a Mexican San Andreas wrapper and it's kind of covering some of that signature thing up that I love, I'm just like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That being said, all the people who blend know more than me, and they've tied their entire family and money into this, so I can't knock them.
There's a reason why pretty much every good cigar out there now is grown in Central America through, obviously you got Cuba on the same plane as all that, Ecuador, all that is because tobacco growing on that latitude is actually some of the best tobacco you can have. It's all volcanic soil. You got a lot of nutrients in the soil. It really does nice. The only true American released cigar, 100% American, I think is the American from J.C. Newman. Problem with that cigar is it's not very good. And it's expensive. I mean, you're going to spend $26 to $30 for that cigar. It's not that good.
I would tell you, 'cause I, 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 'cause if you're at all curious and you find one, you should try it.
Yeah, I mean it's a good experiment
Yeah.
to taste through what burley tobacco and some of the tobacco you're getting from America.
Yeah.
It's not that it's
Well, I'm
terrible;
sure
it's
there's
just
gotta be
different.
lots of import costs associated with bringing in cigars from foreign countries, right? There's going to be various levels of taxes.
Yeah,
and
but
things
labor's
like
a
that.
lot cheaper.
Labor.
There's no question.
Yeah, that's the
No
big
question.
thing. Yeah,
I'd be curious if there is room in the market for American cigars. Traditionally, to your point, dip, cigarettes, all that sort of stuff has been American tobacco
Yeah.
for a long time, but that wasn't the case at the beginning of the history of our nation. Cigarettes weren't a thing.
no,
It was just cigars. And there was a significant economic impact with tobacco farmers in the U.S. And so it makes me wonder, like, if there's opportunity there, right? And as the premium cigar market continues to grow, is there options to do things like what we've done with corn and soybeans and wheat, and being able to do some of these modifications or cross pollinations or various breeding techniques to change some of these that make that tobacco grow in the U.S. And not to say that there's
Yeah.
anything wrong with, us getting all these cigars from Central America, because they're amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
I think U.S. tobacco is a shell that at least that industry is a shell of what it was 50, 75 years ago.
Yes,
I mean, it's just
absolutely.
you would I remember driving from where I grew up in South Carolina to Myrtle Beach, just that hour trip we would take all through the country. It was nothing but tobacco fields
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
And now
Well-
you go and you may see one.
you may see one. Yeah,
I
yeah.
also think that the farming cost here would be a lot higher. Like
It
in a
is.
lot of that volcanic soil, it has enough nutrients to keep going. Here, you'd have to be fertilizing, doing all that other stuff.
Or rotation
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, rotate.
Our soil is not what it used to be, and
No.
I'm not trying to get into some weird political stuff. I'm just telling you, like, the soil in most farms they've not been doing any regenerative practices, so they have to continue supplement. I mean, it's like you taking a supplement because you're not eating right. you know?
Right.
Same thing.
Well, I don't know that I've ever talked about it on the podcast before, but Hunter Smith, former Super Bowl winning punter for the Colts, he grew up on a farm, and I got a chance to see him present what he's doing now. He's got a family farm over in Zionsville.
Right.
And it is all just like local stuff. And he got 100 acres on cash rent to be able to do livestock. They said, oh, you're going to be 5 to 10 years before you have that thing grassed. He went out and let it just come up naturally and didn't do chemicals and all that sort of stuff. And I mean, he said within a year, that
Yeah.
soil was back where it needed to be to support livestock. And he did a lot of rotation with his livestock. So the livestock were naturally fertilizing it just by being out there, right?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, with the techniques that are required around large farm operations versus those that are doing craft, or whatever, organic farming, or I don't care what you call it, right? Whatever type of farming it is, if there's opportunities that exist out there to create tobacco farms in the U.S. I don't know if there is or not, but it's an interesting idea.
I think there are,
There
but
are.
it would cost a lot of money
Lot of
for
money.
a farm to get all the equipment and
Oh,
all
yeah,
the things that
yeah.
they need for.
Well, the investments that's going on with the whole soil to spirit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That whole movement that's going on.
Which that's
is there a
pretty cool.
chance?
It was fun to see Heaven Hill doing that and seeing Beck Seed.
Yeah. Beck switches over
yeah.
in Atlanta,
Well, I really feel like
not
that
Atlanta,
a
Georgia,
lot of
Atlanta,
it,
Indiana.
a lot of it came down to
Also very
We're-
popular with a lot of highways running through it.
America. What are we known for? We're a capitalistic nation.
If we think we can make money, we'll figure out a way
So
to do it.
why would they not
Yeah.
sell all the tobacco to cigarette companies? They're going to buy it all up
Of
and make their
course.
stuff. But it's still an art down in Central America.
And is there the opportunity for that art to exist in the United States?
Could be, but
I don't know.
But
Yeah,
then you're
yes
talking
and
about
no.
cigars being $50 a piece.
The life
They
of a
could be.
farmer, though,
Could
is
be.
the life of a large scale farmer. It's always a gamble, right? You're basically gambling. You're running on credit.
Yep.
You're running on a lot of credit, hoping that you're going to have an excellent crop, that you can pay off all that debt and then make a little bit of money.
and you
Well,
hope you
because
don't
they're
have
doing
rain.
large operations. If
Yeah.
you start talking about, Hunter's got 120 acres,
Right.
100 on cash rent, 20 acres. That's his now
He
family
can do
farm.
those things.
And he's selling, he's selling grass fed, steak
Yeah.
For, $20, $25 a pound.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
But again, he's found a marketplace for that sort
Yeah.
of thing, and he thinks that there's a big opportunity for farmers to potentially do that, to have the family farm that's 100 acres and make something out of it. It's not
Yeah.
going to be growing corn and soybeans.
Yeah.
It's not doing the normal crop rotations. It's not going to be out in the middle of the country growing wheat, right? It's going to be contract farming with distillers. It's going to be, doing small batch, to use the term, but versions of livestock, right? It's
Yeah.
it's small local farming. And I don't know that anybody's ever tried it or thought to try it around tobacco and cigars. It could be interesting.
Will was talking about the amount of debt you have to go in, all the gamble. If you want it's purely entertainment, but it does go into it. But Clarkson's Farm on Amazon Prime is Jeremy Clarkson learning to farm, and it is hilarious, but it also sheds a lot of light on the farming industry and what they have to go through, even just loss in livestock animals or diseases that are keeping their cows from going to sale. And it's like, it's the guy from Top Gear. So it's funny, but it's also like just kind of learning the challenges that go along with it, that somebody who's never been in a farming family, and I'm not saying that you're going to learn everything, but it does shine some light to somebody who lives on a quarter-acre lot
Puts
with a
perspective on it. I mean, there's a reason Willie Nelson did Farm Aid, right? I mean, it was those guys needed it.
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Mean, it was
now
not,
most of those large farming, well, what was traditionally the 100 to 500 acre family farm, most of them have been sold off to corporate farming interests, right? They're just cash rent. I got a buddy of mine here in Pendleton. He's 1,500, 2,000 acres. It's a commercial farm operation, right? It is large scale contracts and all that stuff. But then I've seen Manifold Farms. Jessica Manifold just moved back from, I don't know, she was gone for 25 years, and she took over the family farm. She's growing vegetables. Yeah. She's doing all kinds of, finished product with what she's growing, and has created a career out of it.
I love going to the Fisher's Farmers Market every Saturday. Becky
Absolutely.
and I, this time of year, we make it a routine. We get up, we're there by 8 a.m. And listen, you can really get some great produce. You can get some great grass-fed beef there, but it's expensive.
It is.
You kind of got to budget yourself, because you just can't, if you've got a family of 4 kids to feed, you can't afford – 5 pounds of grass-fed beef every week. It's just too expensive.
You're not doing that if you're that, if you're in that situation. These are specialty buyers. These are people that care about an organic farm product or whatever, right? Locally grown, that locally sourced kind of thing. And there's people that have extra income that's what they want to spend it on.
I just like trying to be supportive when we can, to a limit, right? I mean,
of course.
But anyway.
Well, I was going to farmers markets a lot. It was just kind of a fun Friday or Saturday thing for me, and I'm mostly buying vegetables. I don't hardly ever have excess money to buy meat at those places, but it's fun, and seeing what's in season and designing your next dinner around it is a blast.
And doing that once a month.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, that's totally fine. I think
Support those people.
I don't know if you guys saw the Father's Day show that we did. My dad was on, and he grew up on a dairy farm, and he talked about just going to where the container was where they put all the milk. It was a chilled container, and they would just turn it on the mixer on high, and then reach their cup down and just get fresh, frothy, unpasteurized milk from that. And you think like that was 80 head of cattle, of dairy cows, right? Yeah. And it's kind of how you look at it is in some ways, we have some people that are going back to that. What other opportunities are there out there? Is the next premium cigar that everybody wants to go after potentially an American-grown product?
I would say that for there to be an American-grown cigar that is going to actually be able to support a farm to grow tobacco to actual standards, you would have to get somebody like General or Swisher or whoever it is, like one of those big conglomerates behind it. And they'd have to see a market for
We
it.
do have a guy that's doing that now, and he's the La Galera rep now, Corey Frisbee, and he's growing some of the traditional tobaccos you see in Central America up in Wisconsin right now.
Wow.
Wow.
So I'm anxious to see how that goes. All this tobacco is already pre-purchased by Hochi Blanco from
Wow.
La Galera. He said, we're going to use it or we're going to sell it. Either way, we're going to be using this. So I'll be anxious to see how that comes out. Maybe we can get some Fumas to taste an individual lease that way.
that would be really interesting.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Yeah. I just, there's opportunity. Look, I get the volcanic soil. I get that it is the premium growing area down there in Central America. There's no question about it. The cigars that they've produced are just outstanding.
Yeah.
And they're hitting the market and people love them, right? I mean, I remember, was it 15 years ago, Nicaragua leaves, that was a wrapper. That was it. They didn't use them for anything else. I don't know if you remember that, but
Yeah.
that's that. Then suddenly everybody was like, man, that flavor's so good. And American palates. I think it's interesting. We talk about the barrel proof whiskey being so popular in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Yeah.
But you get outside of that area and barrel proof kind of takes a nosedive and people want 90 to 100 proof.
Yeah.
Right. But mostly Americans have this palate, this desire for something new and unique.
Yeah.
And they're not going after this same thing that they've been doing for 500 years, like French wines.
Yeah.
Right? They're saying, what's the next step? What's the next iteration? Thank you to sponsor Deadwood Live. Derek with Deadwood Live is producing top quality live edge products as well as bourbon themed furniture. If you've been in the lounge, you've seen the custom live edge table and barrel stools produced by Derek. Be sure to give him a like and follow on Facebook at Deadwood Live. That's D-E-D Wood Live. Why am I not smoking something better? And there is better cigars. There's a lot of better cigars, okay?
Okay. And better is subjective.
It
If that's
is.
your cigar,
It
that's
is.
your cigar. No,
The thing is,
no
first
reason.
thing in the morning, it just pairs so perfectly with black coffee. I've tried a few others, but that molasses dip tip really adds just that hint of sweetness that I'm looking for.
Gotcha.
The fact that it is that milk cream sweetness is like cream and sugar with my coffee. And I can drink black coffee, but still feel like I'm having cream and sugar. I gave up cream and sugar in my coffee years ago, and I don't drink pop or soda anymore.
Yeah.
Like very, very rare. And it's just cut and sugar. Not that did anything for my figure. But it did change my palate a lot.
Yeah.
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 I felt like sugar was inhibiting my ability to experience flavors because everything has so much sugar in it now. I mean, you can't even have Subway in the UK and have it be a sandwich because they can't classify their bread as bread because the sugar content is too high.
Yeah.
And all of these restaurants, all these fast food places, they all dump a bunch of sugar into their stuff because sugar is addictive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I've dumped it out of my diet for the most part. And I
here.
love that cigar in the morning. It's a good price. What, $8.50 or something a stick, maybe
Maybe, yeah,
$8
somewhere in that
flat,
range,
and
yeah.
I buy them by the box, and it just works. I like the rich mouthfeel of the smoke, mouthfeel. But that's why I kind of found something that I just like, and I standardized on it, and I know
There you go.
I love the crema. By the way,
Yeah.
the Espinosa crema is a
Yeah.
fantastic cigar, but I just like that Metropolitan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I thought so.
I have.
Yeah.
And I thought
And you were probably like, what the fuck is Scott thinking smoking this
Well,
thing?
my thing is like my morning cigars, if I get a cigar in the morning, which is just one of the best routines, like best way to start your day.
It is.
Yes, it is.
I will typically start because I still have some of the Sfumato and C majors from Crown Heads, which was a limited release. It was actually a PCA release, I think.
Yeah.
And then as I drink a lot of coffee in the morning,
Yep.
and as I just like keep going, because if I'm having a cigar in the morning, it's a relaxed morning. I don't have anything to do till noon, I'll switch over to a Pie Synesthesia. I think it's the yellow.
Yeah.
And those just have enough spice to carry me through, but it's still that like sweet Connecticut thing that I enjoy. I'm not a big fan of the sweetened tips.
That's
Like that, and that's
yeah.
probably more my issue with that cigar than anything. I don't think I was off put by the flavor. I was by the tip.
fair.
Yeah.
Fair. And yeah, I mean, I like it because it's not infused.
Yeah.
I'm not an infused.
I also drink
fan.
more acidic coffees. Like I love light roast stuff, very fruity coffees.
And I'm a dark roast guy,
Gotcha.
so that
Yeah,
probably
go.
explains it right there. I need, without that acidity and some of the light flavors that you get from those light roast coffees. Yeah, that dark roast is, it's got a very, I hate to say burnt, but definitely a heavy toast.
Oh, it's burnt.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I know everybody that drinks, it's like the hardcore coffee people that have like
it's okay.
The AeroPress and all the different ways of doing.
I straight up have a pour over routine that I'll do every morning.
See,
and it's just,
pour over routine.
It is just one of those little joys and rituals that I think everybody needs to build in their life, no matter what it is. Like find something that brings you joy, that forces you to slow down, whether it's smoking a cigar in the evening or actually forcing yourself to sit down in your house before your day gets started, make some coffee and sit there and drink it and do nothing. Like, I think everybody needs those
That is
rituals.
such a great point. I mean, I feel like every show we talk about the whole culture that Rob's built here at Final Third.
Yeah.
And what it means to get together with friends and have drinks or have a cigar or both or whatever. We are going all the damn time. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hilarious. Every time Botha comes over to my place, I'm just sitting there relaxed, and he's up pacing.
Yeah.
Because he can't stop himself. He's just a pacer.
For being unemployed, that dude works more than anybody I know.
He's not unemployed anymore.
He's not.
He's not.
He's not. Yeah. He may not be getting paid for a lot of the stuff that he does, but it's like that dude is on the move. He loves to be on the move.
He is.
And that life stresses me out.
And you know what the thing is? He comes in here and he sits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits and he hangs out and he has good conversation.
Or he has a cigar and a drink and still stands and paces.
But that's
fine.
That's okay too. Yeah. But our whole world needs to take some time to slow down. I think some of the aggressiveness that happens in conversation with people is due to just the sheer, pace of our society.
Yeah.
And when you're forced to stop and take time, you have meaningful conversations. I mean, we got an election coming up here that we have two pretty shitty options.
Shit show.
Yeah, as of right now. And it's like, okay, well, we could at least sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
We could have conversations about it instead of people getting all fired up.
Well, we don't typically get into the politics too deep on this podcast.
Correct.
And I don't know if anybody watched that last debate. I didn't watch it live, but at least I had to go back and watch it.
Now we can't go too far into this because we are going to have a politics episode.
I'm not going to go deep.
We've been talking about.
We're going to talk about the
episode.
funniest thing I saw in the entire show was they asked
talking
Biden
about golf.
That was hilarious.
That was really funny.
My favorite part was when
you don't have a 10 handicap, or an 8 handicap.
Starts out 6 and goes to 8.
Carry your own bag.
But it was when Biden was asked a question and he had like 4 thoughts in his head and he took out like 3 words from each thought and put it and said it. And then they said, well, they looked at Trump and said, do you have a rebuttal? He's like, I have no idea what he just said, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't either. I'm like, that was exactly. And Biden's over just looking like, I think you're right. It's funny.
It's unfortunate.
So Lisa has a theory on this. She really feels like what's going to happen is they're just letting these two just be stupid on debates, do their thing, and then at the last hour,
conventions,
all of a sudden we're going to have 2 new candidates that are going to be running, and you're going to have to make your decision at that point to vote. And you know what? I'm not saying that's wrong.
That wouldn't hurt my feelings at all.
I mean, kind of that's kind of how Barack Obama kind of got picked, because he was kind of a last minute guy they threw in there. Like everyone's going, "Who's this guy?"
Before they even had a chance to really say anything.
Yeah. So I mean, she may not be wrong there. So we'll see.
Which I will say, I am a big fan of Barack Obama as a man, as a person. I truly believe that he believes everything that he says and has that strong point. I don't agree with his politics, but I loved that. I love being able to say, I can disagree with his politics, but I can respect that man in the presidential office.
I disagree with Michelle Obama. She put fat-free ranch in the public school system.
Oh, that's true. Bad move. Bad
terrible.
Move.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah. Get rid of the sugar. Leave the fat. Seriously, fat's actually, they're finding out more and more every day.
Better for you.
It's better for you. It's totally fine.
Fat-free ranch is not ranch. I don't care what you call it, but it's not ranch.
It's disgusting is what it is.
It's not right.
You know, I started making my own salad dressings about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago.
It's so much better.
Oh, I just make all my own. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if I'm doing like ranch or blue cheese or whatever. I make all my own.
Yeah, that's cool.
I made, and my wife typically doesn't like them because I love vinaigrettes and she's not a vinaigrette
yeah.
fan.
I
And
do
I love
too.
the sharp acidic nature of them.
Yep.
I made Caesar. We had Mike and Jim both were over for dinner like a week ago, and I made Caesar salad. And I made this Caesar dressing, and my wife was like, "This is the best salad dressing I've ever had in my entire life." I was like,
Oh.
"It's got anchovies in it." She goes, "Shit." 'Cause she doesn't, you know, she thinks she doesn't like anchovy. I'm like, I get it. You don't want to eat a whole
Caesar
like,
dressing
you
has.
know, little
Supposed to.
anchovy, but
Yep.
it's really, really delicious in that dressing. It was amazing.
Like, if you put anchovies on my pizza, like I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
But in
Exactly.
anything, like I'm in.
Yeah, me too.
You put it on the Caesar salad though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, in the dressing, and I actually like the anchovies in the like 2 or 3 anchovies. You can just get a little nibble of it with each bite.
It's
All that
umami.
saltiness.
It is umami. Hey, we knew it. We knew it was gonna happen.
We did.
Umami.
Yes. Yeah.
When I was in the 2nd grade, this is when Domino's Pizza was just like hitting big,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
You could order it, carry out. And I remember telling my dad, "Hey, Dad, I want to try anchovy pizza."
Absolutely.
Yeah, well,
I've
Domino's
tried it
had
before.
anchovy pizza, and my dad's like, "Son, you're not gonna like it." I just, Dad, come on, I want to try it. I want to try it. So he orders me a small pizza, cheese and anchovies.
It's so salty.
I
Yeah,
took
it's
one
crazy.
bite of that thing, and I was like,
Mm.
"Oh shit, what am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
dad's like, "You're gonna eat it.
You're gonna eat it. It's like when you got caught smoking. You're gonna smoke that whole pack.
You're gonna eat this whole anchovy
That's
pizza,
right.
William."
Yep. Yep.
That's crazy.
Hey, you know, I gotta figure that anchovy goes with something on pizza. Maybe some green bell pepper or something.
Maybe.
Bitter, salty.
I think if you were gonna put it into a sauce or something else,
Yeah, it'd be fine.
But whole anchovies, I'm not sure I would ever do it.
Now, I
again.
did
No.
eat sardines as a kid.
I ate sardines.
Yeah, sardines out of the can.
I
I
have no
especially liked
been
them
a sardine fan.
packed in mustard versus oil.
Yeah, mustard's the way.
Yeah, it is.
But
really, really
anchovies
good.
are a different animal.
They are. They are not nearly the salt level that the anchovies are.
Yeah. I think that's the majority of what bothers me with anchovies is just how salty they are. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know this is going to be, I can't remember if this is going to be coming out this Monday or the next Monday.
I don't know. I don't even know how many shows
But-
deep we are right now.
Coming up here on July 20th, we're going to be out at Old 55 with Dirk
Yeah.
for a big event out
Yeah,
there.
and to watch Legacy.
If you guys have nothing to do on July 20th, get up to Old 55 Distillery. It's up in Newtown.
Even if
it's
you have things
just
to
south
do, if
of
it's not that
Lafayette.
important, cancel your plans. Go
Just
to
go.
Lafayette.
It's going to be a good time. It's really raising money for the End of Watch Legacy
Yeah.
Fund. There's going to be a absolute crap ton of products that you can actually go out there and bid on, and you really good chances to win some really good bottles.
And for those that might not know, but if you're tuning in for the first time, the End to Watch Fund raises money for fallen officers in the state of Indiana.
Yeah,
So
yep.
they give $10,000 to
the
the
families.
family for
Yep.
anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
No strings attached. It's a great cause to really help those that are helping us
and
every day.
I
Yeah.
love that about the End of Watch Fund is that there are no strings attached. You're gonna get the money if you want it. You
Yeah.
know, it's just like if you need to go on a vacation to get away from all the hoop and holler, do
Yeah.
it. Do it
Yeah.
with that money. If you need
Yeah.
help with funeral costs or if you need help paying your bills next month, use it
Do
for
it.
that. Like,
Yeah.
It really is a no strings attached thing.
Yeah, and that's one thing he prides himself on is it's him and his wife doing all this.
Which
so there
they're
is
beasts.
And they are, but there's not a single dime that goes into that organization that pays for anything except for those families, and I appreciate that a lot because most of the charities that we give to in this country, there's a big corporation behind it. You're paying salaries as well,
Yeah.
and this is not one of those. This is all going to the right cause. So
It is.
we love
That's
being a
good
part of
stuff.
that,
Yeah.
and I'm
Make sure
excited
you
to get out there. 'cause I
Yeah,
think it's gonna be a
when
good
is
time.
okay? Where and when again?
It's July 20th, and it's at Old 55 Distillery up in Newtown, just south of Lafayette.
perfect.
So it's a bit of a haul up there,
And I
but it'll
think,
be a good time.
It's a nice drive though.
I think they're doing like a brisket competition.
Are they?
Hey,
I
well,
knew
yeah.
something was coming
I mean,
up.
if you
yeah.
didn't want to go for anything else, I mean,
Oh, they always
brisket's
have
pretty
good
damn
food out there. They always have good food, and you're going to hang out with a bunch of people that also love whiskey and love taking care of people like Dirk and his cause. So.
They do it upright for those events.
They
that's
do.
for
They
sure.
do.
All right, so let's get into another segment here. We've been going for a little while.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isaiah, you're coming
Yeah.
back to us to join the
I
show
am.
this
Yeah.
special guest appearance.
Yeah.
What you been up to, man?
So I think I left the podcast in February.
Well,
or
it didn't
something
matter.
like-
We don't remember
Doesn't
you, so
matter.
it's fine.
Doesn't
you
matter.
you've been gone.
You've been dead to us for a long time.
Well, first of all, like the things that Mike has done with the podcast, and I'm shouting him out personally because I know how much work just churning an episode is.
Yeah.
But like everything that he has done is amazing.
It is.
You know what? I stepped out at the right time for me. Like it was I would have never taken this podcast to where he has. So like kudos to you, Mike.
He's
Bother.
killing it.
I
Yeah.
hope
Cheers to
you
Mike.
actually listen to
Shout
this.
out,
But
Mikey.
cheers
Shout
to
out.
you. Like
Cheers.
absolutely killing it. And I hope you know that like I'm still sitting on the sideline supporting, you know. Well, Rob
Yeah.
and I started this thing together as a short on another podcast, which shall not be named. Is the picture still up there? Not even.
Nope, it's gone.
Yeah, and then it just kind of developed from a first like crappy iPhone video to the rest. So like seriously, Mike has taken this podcast to another level, and it's been fantastic. But I had told Rob maybe late December or early January, like, hey, end of February is gonna be my last time. And I didn't even know what was coming for me. I just knew that like I needed to pare down on things that I'm doing in my life.
Well, I mean,
Well,
shit,
I mean, you
had-
got married.
you were
Yeah, I
getting
did
married.
I did
Yeah.
get married.
You were
I-
go back to school. You had a job. You had all that stuff going on. I mean, yeah, it made perfect sense.
Yeah. So
There was no animosity there at all.
no, I'd hope not. But
No.
None whatsoever.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that we don't like you anymore, but that's fine.
it's fine.
That's a
It's
whole
fine.
different story.
It's fine.
It has nothing to do with you leaving the podcast.
Literally, one of my last podcasts on here, like we caused such a big stir that
Yeah.
we're not going
Maybe
to talk
that's what it
about
was. It was the
Yeah.
let's stop all the
no.
shit going on,
Yeah.
man.
And that still is going on.
It's
Just so
still
you know.
going on.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But no, it was. I think on the last podcast I was here, we had just done a biopsy on my wife Victoria, and shortly after that, like we found out she had breast cancer. She had stage 2C. I don't know how all the staging works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Breast cancer. It ended up in a bilateral mastectomy, and then we are currently over halfway through chemo. So she goes in for chemo number 6 tomorrow, 6 of 8.
Okay.
And then following that's radiation. So it's like legitimately, if I would not have stopped when I did and actually like said that, I just would have left you high and dry. And I'm
Yeah.
so thankful that I like had some foresight there. But it has been a wild ride. That's for sure. Full of not a lot of rest and relaxation, a whole lot of doctor's visits. Like I swear I've never seen the doctor so many times, but like she'll go 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah.
There's one week she had 8 appointments. Like who the heck
Wow.
needs to see the doctor that much?
And I think you guys came in
Yeah.
when we were doing the So Into Bourbon.
Yeah, we did.
She looked
Yeah.
great. Looks
Yeah.
like she
Yep.
was
Yeah.
smile on her face. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
obviously we send out all the thoughts and
Yeah.
prayers to
Absolutely.
both of you, and glad that she's
Yeah.
getting through it. My wife's mother died from breast cancer, and that was goodness. I mean, that was 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And so much has changed. Definitely, there's all kinds of causes out there to support research around breast cancer. You know, the Susan G. Komen Foundation. I've done that walk a number of times, and just a lot of good stuff's gone on. That survivor rate is like 97% or something,
Yeah.
which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
It has been crazy the amount of support we've had from family and friends. And, you know, I'm a pastor at a church. So even the church wrapping around, like, I'd only been working at this church 3-4 months by the time that she got diagnosed. And, like, even at that place, they said, hey, we know your life's going to look a little bit different. We know that there are things that you need to be at or want to be at with Victoria. Like, just know, like, we're not going to let you take any sick days or vacation days to be there.
Wow.
That's
And
great.
it's just
That's
been, it has been amazing. And the support we've got, and just the way that God has provided for us through this. Like, even I don't know. It's been absolutely wild, and hardest season of my life for sure. Like figuring out marriage and then figuring out cancer. I'm sure I don't even have marriage halfway figured out.
And sickness and health is supposed to be like 40, 50 years from now, not
I know
tomorrow.
she put me to the test like within 4 months.
Yeah.
So we've been kind of just turning at this thing since really late February or early March, and it's been full of challenges, but it's been really good.
Yeah.
In all of it, it's been good.
That's great to hear, man.
Yeah.
And we're glad you were able to make some time and come back out and join us.
yeah.
again.
Well, it's like I legitimately have been a hermit in a cave for like the past month. They just switched chemos that she's on, so there's different chemo drugs they put people on. The first two that she had were adriamycin and Cytoxin. Adriamycin is what they call the red devil.
It's
like
bad.
It's the hardest chemo that you can really take, and she just moved. Her last treatment is on Taxol, which has been a lot easier of a thing. And I will tell you guys, if you know somebody who's dealing with any health crisis of sorts, like the highlights that you hear, the things that they tell you are just scratching at the surface. Like, like my wife, she had a mastectomy. What you wouldn't know is like we got rear-ended on the way to the surgery, or that she's been like one of the chemos or one of the things she had like gave her severe hives, like even on her feet, and it's like all these little things that just nag at you past the treatment that you don't even know about, and all the side effects and like all that stuff. So really, if there's somebody in your life that you know is going through something like that, you will never bother them reaching out, because more times than not, people will tell you like, oh, we don't want to bother them. Like, I'm sure they're hearing it from a lot of people. They're not. I'm just telling you, they are not. Like, we've had some really intentional friends and it's been great, but there's a lot of people that like literally suffer in silence in that regard. So.
People need people.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, look, we all sit around, we have cigars together, we get a chance to share in each other's lives and talk about what's good, what's bad. People need people, and we're very glad that you're able to come out and join us today and take a couple hours and have a couple cigars and some good whiskey. Yeah. It's always a good thing.
No, I haven't been able to do this in a long time, just cigars and whiskey. So
that's a good thing, man.
Yeah,
we're glad that you were able to join us today for sure.
No, I'm happy to join you. It's kind of fun being a guest on the
show. Well, as you've learned, like your priorities in life can change on a moment's notice at any point in time. And you never see it coming. You never know what's going to
It's like getting hit by a bus.
But you've got to you've got to push through. And
it was a Honda Civic.
Oh,
but of course.
Well, I got hit by a bus a few years ago. So you never know.
That's why he can't button his shirts up very well.
That's the reason why.
But no, your priorities do shift at a moment's notice, and the thing is, when you're going through something like this, there is a lot of little deaths that you have, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. I'm not going to be able to do that, and all this stuff, and it's like, in the grand scheme of things,
it's trivial.
You still have life.
It's inconsequential.
Like if we can make it through November, like her treatment will be done. And that's it. And hopefully we won't have to deal with it again.
Well, it's a good reminder to sit back, take a deep breath, relax, rely on those that are around you. Go find them, go visit, go get out there. Go find the people that are struggling in your life and go spend some time with them.
Yeah. And also make sure that you have a community that you can call upon.
Yeah.
Like you need to have people around you that like, hey, if so and so can't take me to this thing, this date, can you? Like, there's been a lot of help from even like my mom, her mom, some of our friends that are like, hey, if you ever need a ride somewhere, like I'll be there. We've had a couple friends take off work to sit there during our chemo sessions, and this last one was like 6.5 hours, like sitting in a chair with somebody. And it's not a whole lot for you to drive them there and sit with them, but it's super meaningful to her because Victoria's just been isolated to no end.
Yeah.
So It's
Well, if you are looking for a place to find friends, Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, serious.
Yeah.
Serious.
I am being serious. It's fun, but it's true.
Well, we say that a lot here. It's like,
We do.
I mean, just look at that here right now. This table of 4 people right here. When we first started here, not a single person knew each other there. I think Will knew Liesel a little bit, or I think they were working together. But, Dan and Grant over there, none of us knew each other, and we've just all become friends because we have a gathering spot to come and hang out and become friends.
But we're going to
Find
test
your
it. We're going
gathering
to test it when we
spot.
go on vacation together. That's
Yes,
the
it
ultimate
is.
test.
Yes, it is. Yes, it
It
is.
is.
But I mean, that is key. It's like it didn't have to be here. It can be anywhere. Find you a place to go and just meet people and meet new people. Don't just, I mean, you can have your core group of friends, but there's nothing like going out to a gathering spot. I mean, like when we went to Park's place the other night and hung out with the Fuel players and watched hockey. We made some great friends with these guys that we
My
would have never
goodness.
met.
Those guys are just some of the nicest
Oh.
guys. For being out there on the ice and beating the shit out of other guys, these are the
Nicest guys
nicest
ever.
guys you could ever hang out with. We were out here in the cigar garden, the patio, and
Oh gosh.
we were having I mean,
That
I
was a
thought, we'll
fun-
go over there for like an hour. We got here like just after 8 o'clock.
Yeah, here till midnight or
Yeah, it was like
after
12:30.
midnight. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do miss nights like that at the lounge. Like I remember the early nights where like Mike Bother was showing up. and
Yeah.
he'd just be like hanging out until, gosh,
Who knows?
I'd leave before they would.
Yeah.
And this has legitimately been a great place for community, and you can find friends here if you make an effort.
Hey,
Yeah,
look, Mike
yeah.
and Jen, great example. Their dog Gus, blue heeler, woke up the other day and couldn't move one of his back legs or both back
Both back
legs.
legs, yeah.
Paralyzed.
And for them, that's their kids because
Yeah.
they're dog
They
people.
got no
That
kids.
is their kids. Yeah, they don't have kids, and their dogs, are their kids. And Gus is a great dog, blue heeler that just goes kind of nuts and needs like some sheep.
I mean, that
to
dude
chase
lives
around
to
with.
run, so like
He
it's
does.
a big deal.
He's a
Yeah.
high energy dog.
But
yeah.
where do they end up within 24 hours? Here at the lounge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here at the lounge because they know that they've got a support group here that's, that's ready to take care of them and pull them in.
And Gus is coming back around. He was here the other day. Him
Yes,
and
he
Howard
was.
both were here. And, he's not quite fully back yet, but he's almost there.
Yep, they
Yeah.
said 4 to 6 weeks.
He's
something
ready
like
to start
that.
playing again, but,
Yep.
they still got to go slow.
They
and-
got to keep them down a little
Yep,
bit.
yep.
And, yeah. So find your place. Find
Yeah.
your place. If
Yeah.
it's a cigar lounge, if it's whatever it might be, and
Yeah.
invite people to your home or
Whatever.
find some way to connect.
Yep.
So important. So important.
So you had something coming up you were looking at too, weren't you?
Oh, I'm just looking at. I had some release stuff I was looking at.
Yeah.
Well, let's cover
Let's
it real
do
quick.
it.
Let's get it. What do we got coming up?
So looks like Ross and Squib. I guess that's the official way. To call it.
Squibbies?
Squib
Squibbies.
Juice. They are releasing a new Remus line called the Bambino Meets the Bootlegger.
Huh.
So you could call it a little gimmicky, but they have come out with a
Their
Remus.
marketing team has been great. I'm telling you.
come out with it.
Got some good people.
That's
They're coming out with a release of Remus Babe Ruth Reserve, which is a blend of 3 high rye bourbons aged 6 to 7 years and offered at 111 proof. There will be a limited supply of 10,624 bottles.
Sounds very limited.
it said that was the number of at bats he had, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what the
Oh,
number
yeah.
of bottles
for
were
each
equal
of
to-
his at-plate appearances.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they will arrive at retail this July at a minimum suggested retail price of $149.99.
Jeez.
So high.
There will be a QR code on the back that you can scan and find out what Babe did at the plate on your bottle.
That's
that's
kind of cool.
kinda
That
cool.
is kind of cool.
This is like
That is
2/3
cool.
So
strikeouts.
buy that bottle for
They
the
were.
baseball
There was a lot of
fan in your
strikeouts.
life.
He
And if
struck out that
if
time.
you're one of the ones that got the home run, good for you.
Congratulations.
I bet those
Most
are
of
gonna,
you are getting
I bet
I mean, he
those
did
are
hit a
gonna
lot of
worth
home
more
runs,
on
so.
secondary. The home run bottles are going to be worth.
It'll be the
600
exact
bucks on-
same dollar, like the exact same stuff inside of it, but you're exactly
Yeah,
right. So he's
yeah.
like, this is a home run bottle. It's verified. Here's the QR code. It's $700.
Oh, I
Oh,
guarantee the first home run and the last home run will be way up there.
thing
Oh, they
is
probably won't
I would
release those.
hate
That'll
to
probably
be-
go in their vault.
Might be.
I would hate to be the team that's doing the task of like putting information on these web pages for each and every QR code. Could you imagine how monotonous that job would be?
Dude, it's literally going to be one line. He struck out.
Right.
He
Right,
struck
right.
out. He struck out.
Well, it
Home run. He struck out.
Home run.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, Babe Ruth was such a long time ago, and like I said, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but
Yeah.
If you get the bunt bottle, the one time Babe Ruth probably
Bunt it.
ever bunted in 10,000,
Right.
that's the one that's worth a lot of money.
Well, there's a reason why he didn't bunt. The guy was so big, he probably took like a half a minute to get down there to the freaking first base.
The Bambino was always a little sauced up too.
Yeah,
Let's be
yeah.
honest.
he
That's
was.
what I wondered. What was his drink of choice? Maybe we need to do a little research on
Ooh.
that. Find out what the Babe,
I think it was whatever he was given.
whatever happened
Yeah.
to show up.
Harvey Wallbangers, baby.
Right? Give that guy a case of beer. Okay, what are we going to do for him tomorrow?
But then I also saw a cool another release that was coming out. I'm trying to find it now. I had it up. Shoot, where did I put it? It was a Lafroy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There we
Elements 2.0. That's basically, I think it's a 10-year, but it's being released at cast strength or right at just under 120 proof. So a new Lafroy, that's going to be cool. Jay Mattingly's doing a 10th Mountain Whiskey edition. I guess they, I don't know if they partner with the 10th Mountain Whiskey Distillery out in Colorado, but they've got another one coming out. And then New Riff had something I was just looking at. Looks like a,
Oh, that artwork on the bottle looks awesome.
yeah, it is. They're coming out basically with a, their classic bourbon, but it's a 10-year age statement now.
Cool.
So that'll be coming out here pretty soon. It looks like the inaugural release is bottled at barrel proof and features a mash bill of 45% 10-year-old bourbon, 20% 9-year-old bourbon, 30% 9-year-old rye, and 5% 7-year single malt rye whiskey.
Nice.
And of course, their mash bill 65% corn, 30% rye, and 5% malt.
I'm really happy with the things that New Riff has been doing recently. It really does seem like they are creating bottles that hit the experienced bourbon drinker's palate. They've always been good, but now their limited releases and stuff like that are competing with the big six.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see a brand that was kind of a newcomer to the market enter into that space.
Yeah.
Well, I never even pay attention because Mike and Jen love New
Oh,
Riff
They
so
love
much
New Riff,
that
yeah.
They'll
I
send
just
it,
wait till they show up with a bottle. I'm like, yeah, that's great stuff.
So
they'll send a text and like, hey, you want to go down for this
This-
release? It's like, I didn't even know it was happening, but no.
a little busy.
Yeah.
A little busy at the moment.
Yeah.
So these are probably already gone. They were, I guess you could start picking them up beginning this coming week, July 11th. They're retailing for $250 a bottle, but the cool thing is 125 of that's going back to designated charities of New
Oh,
Riff's
that's
choice.
awesome.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that is fantastic.
They're definitely definitely a charity bottle, 700 bottles released.
Very cool.
Okay.
Very
very
cool.
limited release.
Well, there was another one I saw, and I just saw it this morning that I'm kind of intrigued by. Not that they're making great whiskey yet. They might be, who knows. But Three Floyds released one that we saw this morning, and it's a malt whiskey, and it's 66% malted barley.
Yeah.
And then it was like a percentages of malted wheat, malted oats, and then like 6% corn. And I'm like, sounds really intriguing. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna
The
try to
oat
find a
thing,
bottle.
I'm going to be curious what that
Yeah,
does.
I mean, it's got to be a malt bomb.
If you want to taste oats, it's Alan's least passionate project, I think he put out in that Lee W. Sinclair. No, the Morning Glory was the one he
Morning
hated.
Glory, yeah,
that was the peanut butter note he hates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
we are going to get down there to Lake Patoka.
Yep,
Yeah.
Old Homestead.
To Homestead, to Alan's new place. I think we're looking at like a November time frame.
Yeah,
We think
we
there
were
could be,
originally thinking about doing it really close to his first mashes, which has just been happening here recently. But yeah, if
We're
we're
gonna give him a little
gonna
bit of
go
time.
get into a cabin or something, let's do it when it's a little bit cooler.
I really
Yep.
want to try this toasted
You pull your
sunflower.
camper
Oh
down,
my
you could
gosh,
stay
I
on my
can't wait to
parents'
try it.
place.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the Sunshine, which is the malted.
Did you hear this?
sunflower
Sunflower.
seeds?
Malted toasted sunflower.
It's a moonshine, but it's made with malted sunflower seeds.
That dude's a wizard.
He
He
is.
is.
He
He
is. We
is.
talk about him often. He's
I,
a great guy and makes amazing stuff.
I love how personable he is and just how experimental he is. And he I don't think he realizes the impact he's having on the
Lisa.
whiskey world at
She'll
large.
Lisa, she'll come
Like,
over here.
he is
Sorry.
literally, if any of these products, which he's just like unashamed to just experiment with,
Yeah.
unashamed to play with,
Yeah.
hits. He's going to be the next big thing.
He is.
Yeah.
And he'll be the person that everybody else is copying. But it's because he's willing to experiment and willing to play with all of these things. And there's a playful nature for him. That's super cool.
They were just
Well, and he's got a group now that is following him that's pretty large and knowing that Alan is doing some incredible things.
Which they should be following him.
Yeah.
I think that anybody who doesn't have Alan Bishop on their radar, I think you're stupid.
Well, and I'll tell you, man, his podcast, he's got that he ties a couple of them. He talks about distilling, and then he talks to other people in the farming side of it too.
Yeah.
Those are super informative. He's talking to big distillers, small distillers, and they're just nerding out on what they're doing.
So that'll be a good upcoming show.
It will be great.
We're gonna have that one. We started talking about. We are gonna do a politics show.
Cool.
It'll be interesting. It'll be running some tight lines there.
Do you have people from both sides going to be represented?
Donald and Joe are coming.
I think what we'll do is, I'm a big fan. There's a podcast. I don't even know if he's still doing it, but it's called My History Can Beat Up Your Politics. And so we're going to kind of go back and look at some history stuff. And a lot of people get so wrapped up in what's going on today that they forget that our country's been around for over 200 years. So we want to talk about that a little bit. That's going to be a show coming up. I don't know when we're doing our next live show. I don't think we've decided that yet.
I don't think we got one yet.
Yep.
We have Hard Truth. We're getting ready to go down and do Hard Truth tomorrow, which I don't know when this is going, but tomorrow we're going down to Hard Truth. We're going to do a podcast there.
Are you guys going to do the ATV tour?
I don't
Prior
know what
to the show?
I don't know what they have planned. If they have it planned, I will take the GoPro. We'll get some
I'm not going to
camera.
be at that one. I've been off work so much lately, and I'm only working 2 days this week. So.
I actually got this thing together, and I'm not going to be able to make it because I'm in the same boat. I've been off for a week now. I've got to get back to work.
Back to work,
yeah.
Some people have to work.
They keep giving me a paycheck, so I figure I need to keep showing up and doing stuff for them.
Well, and we're doing a pick, and I don't know if you know this or not. We're doing a pick with Garrett. It's another fundraiser.
Starlight, right?
Starlight.
But you'll have some of those bottles in here?
I'm planning on getting at least a couple cases.
Perfect. So
if
keep
I
an
can
eye
get
out
a
for the
couple
next
cases,
Starlight
so
pick coming to final.
That'll be coming.
And they're shooting for a double oak.
Double oak. That's what they're supposed to be picking is double oak. Yeah.
All right. Yep. So the last thing we're gonna go have some fun tonight. We gotta start wrapping this thing up because we're gonna go out to Anderson Speedway, the fastest quarter mile in the world.
Awesome.
Highest bank quarter mile in the world too.
There you go. I watched the. I went back and watched Thunder Cars. It was Dirty Racing. I don't know if everybody remembers that from like 20 years ago. HBO did a documentary on Anderson and Anderson Speedway specifically, and this guy Sammy Hawkins running the Thunder Cars. So we'll be watching some figure eight races tonight. It's going to be a good time out there at the Anderson Motor Speedway. If you haven't been there, definitely go and check out that local establishment. It's a lot of fun.
That'll be a good time.
Doesn't anything go at the Anderson Speedway?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything. It's the next closest. You know what the next closest business right next door to the Anderson Speedway is? No. It's a strip club.
A strip club.
Strip club.
Yeah, because it used to be all GM, General Motors jobs are like 30,000 employees, and so there's the Speedway for Fridays and Saturday nights. You get down at the Speedway, and apparently the guys would go over to the strip club.
It's kind of funny. That place has no windows.
No, it does not.
It's just a solid block building.
You don't want to see those.
This is Anderson's finest right over there. But no, it's exactly. But we're gonna have some fun with that tonight. I think that probably about wraps it up, guys. What do you think?
Oh, I do want to mention one thing.
Indiana
Small Batch did do their release. They did a Jay Mattingly blend 2 weeks ago. That'll be coming out. It'll be Indiana Small Batch Reserve, batch number 3.
Excellent.
So you'll start seeing that. Hopefully, look for it in.
And that's a bourbon,
stores.
right?
I think they did a bourbon.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
But yeah, look for that. That'll be
where people could probably find it.
A lot of the town spirits will have those.
Yeah.
And then also shout out to the store. I think Bobo Links will have it probably out in Greenfield. They're doing a ton of picks for them. They have their own picks that are phenomenal. And then Greentown. What's the store in Greentown?
Uh,
Holly's Package.
Holly,
There you go.
yeah.
Holly's will have,
It's a
will have it,
gym.
I think.
So make sure and check
they
that
were-
release out from Indiana Small Batch.
Yep.
All right, guys. I think we're about done. Rob, where
Yep.
can they find you?
Come out and find me at Final Third Cigar everywhere.
Will?
You can find me at Cocky Wolverine.
You can find me at the Whiskey Pastor.
And I'm at Scotty D Smokes. Thanks for joining us on the Final Third podcast.
Yeah. And
Cheers,
Cheers.
guys.
fuck you, Jobu.